And creativity, especially big moments of like aha moments, they just do not feel like they're coming from me.
Nah, it just happens.
Dude.
Yeah.
Those are the most beautiful moments, too.
Yeah.
Like it literally just sort of happens. And then next thing you know, instead of consciously trying to make something happen for a little while, it's just like, wait a minute, I just made something completely
Novel.
Yes, that's the word. And it's almost like a few hours have gone by and you don't even like remember it.
And it was probably really difficult before you had that moment too.
Oh, it always is.
Yeah. It was probably like, oh man.
They've done brain scans on that.
Oh, I believe that.
That frustration moment we all have as creatives, they do these brain scans and they can see this other part of the brain they don't fully understand. It has a lot to do with love, area of love, area where they know creativity happens.
Yeah.
As that frustration increases, it starts to
Just like
wind up.
Yeah.
And then you have a breakthrough moment. I remember that too. I always do that when I'm in my creative space and I'm having I've had 10 years ago, I destroyed my art studio one day out of frustration. Just threw the whole fucking table over.
Yeah.
You know, and now when that frustration happens, I welcome it. I'm just like, I know what this is.
Yeah.
This is the part when the breakthrough's got to be really close because I'm fucking really agitated.
Shit's about to go down. I'm feeling something in my spirit.
Chats and Tatts with Aaron Della Vedova.
Hello, friends, lovers of art, seekers of truth. I don't know where to get truth anymore. I try my fucking best. I listen to a lot of podcasts. Mostly, I just try to interact in person with as many people as I can and ask them what the fuck's going on. I don't really trust pixels coming out of my television or my phone too much. And I guess to you right now, I'm one of those pixels. But come out here to San Diego. I'll shake your hand. I'm real. And if you're listening to this show, you probably listen to a lot of other shows that I listen to. And so that's why I said truth seekers. And I think you're beautiful. And I think we need more of that. So thank you for regarding me possibly in that way. And thanks for tuning in. You know, I do a lot of different stuff on the show. Today, we're getting into the tattoo scene here today. I've got two amazing tattooers here with me today. One does color realism, and we're talking top-notch stuff on the best as it gets. The other one is more of a black and gray surrealism artist, and again, fucking gnarly, rad tattooing. So I've got two masters sitting here with me today. You know, for me, I like to know what makes them tick. I like to know how they got here, what they do, what makes them different than the thousands of tattooers I know that aren't rocking at that level. So we're going to dig into that. We're going to dig into life. We're going to dig into what makes humans tick, what's going on in the world. If any of us even know, at least ask a few important questions. And with all that being said, please welcome my guests today, Michael Perry and Sean Foy.
What's up?
How are you guys doing?
What's up, man? You guys aren't local, so the fact you're even here, I thank you for that.
Oh,
you
no
know?
problem, dude.
Yeah,
I'm pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you very much. And just to get it out there, Michael, New York City,
Yes, sir.
and Sean, Daytona Beach, Florida.
Mhm.
That's where you're currently residing, where you tattoo now. I know you have more in your life of where you live and where you're from. We'll get into that, but that's where you're at now. And on that note, let's start there. Like, I love the story of how people end up in this art form because it's relatively unique. I know there's a lot of tattooers, but we're still a very small population in comparison to most
very
people.
small.
So I love the story of one, how little babies come out just full of light and love, and then the world influences them, their parents, the society, and some, because of that, become lawyers and doctors. Maybe they didn't even want to be one. I don't know. Some probably did. We need lawyers. We need doctors. That's fine. But some of them become artists, which is a little more of an unusual choice in today's day and age, just because there's not this real clear pathway to finances, you know? And so it takes a little courage, and it takes you kind of being like, fuck it, I'm doing this, even though it doesn't make a lot of sense.
One of the most like certain paths of uncertainty that you could take.
It's a hard
path in life. Yeah,
It's like, I'm following this shit.
There's no logic involved.
No, it's just, I'm feeling it. I'm going. I love that story. I love it outside of tattooing. Just anyone, the guy that's a base jumper. I'm like, tell me about that, dude.
Yeah.
Willing to die for something you love. I got to hear your story. You know, I think it's beautiful. I would never do it. But having said that, let's give you each a moment. Whoever first. I want to know a little bit about life growing up. You're that little baby. You're growing up, and at some point, this idea of like, I think maybe I'm an artist, and that maybe not then, but a little while later, maybe I could be a tattoo artist. So each take a turn. I want to hear a little bit about that story.
You want to rock?
Oh, yeah, I got it. That's all good. Yeah, whatever.
All right, so this is Michael talking right now.
All right, Michael talking all right now. I discovered art at a pretty young age. It was always something that was encouraged. Growing up, before I was born, actually, my father used to build guitars.
Oh, you have one of them creative families.
Yeah. It's 50-50. Part of it's creative on my dad's side, on my mom's side, not so creative. But art and drawing and everything was always encouraged.
That's cool.
So from a very young age, I remember drawing. And that turned into, as I was a little bit older, teenager, discovered graffiti, skating, stuff like that. Don't skate anymore. I wasn't good at that. I'm too fat and uncoordinated for it. But ultimately, I stuck with art. I was the kid in school who wouldn't really pay attention in school. And I would just sit there and draw, which turned into now I'm skipping school and I'm just drawing. It's like what I enjoyed doing. I think because it was like a point where my mind was quiet. Like I was really anxious. I was really shy. I was really like not in the scene with a lot of friends and stuff like that. I just kept to myself and drew, and always stuck with me at like no matter where my life went and like what facet or what part of my life I was in, art and drawing was like the only real consistent thing. I had no formal training really. I never even graduated high school. I dropped out of school, but that was always something that stuck with me throughout my entire life was drawing and art. And I think a large part of that was because it was like accepted by my parents. I wasn't pushed so much to like, okay, you need to do this, that, and the other, go to school, become a doctor or a lawyer, something like that. I think because my dad built guitars and he gave it up after me and my brother was born to, you know, have a more steady income, he always pushed like, find what you love to do and then figure out a way to make that work.
That's rad.
So that was kind of instilled.
Most people don't have that.
No.
That's cool though.
No, it was a very like artistically nurturing family that I grew up in. My grandma on my dad's side writes poetry. My uncle on my dad's side is a successful painter. Like that's how he's made a good living and a career. So that's something that was always actually kind of nurtured, where I think a lot of people were like, man, stop fucking drawing and like get an A on this test so you can go work for Amazon or be like mid-level management and hate your life.
Yeah.
Whereas it was very opposite of that for me.
That's cool. And then the second part is, so I get that. That's rad. And kudos to your family for being wise enough to give you that love and encouragement for that. And that's a smart dad move, family move. This episode was brought to you by sullenclothing.com. If you like my art, I have some of it on their t-shirts. If you like the art of other tattoo artists that you look up to or respect, they probably have something on their clothing. Great quality clothing, hoodies, hats, shirts, all of the above. And they are huge supporters of the tattoo industry and this show. So please check out sullenclothing.com.
Tattooing was like a lot trickier and a lot more just blind, dumb luck. That being said, as far as art being encouraged in my life, I never knew what I wanted to do with my life. I just drug my feet and procrastinated because I had no direction, honestly, like until I found tattooing, which was also just complete happenstance. When I was younger, 17, 18, 19, I started getting tattooed, like poor tattoos. And a guy who was doing a lot of them ended up becoming a friend of mine and noticed that I drew. He saw one drawing, actually. It was a specific drawing. And the tattooer who became a friend used to have Warhammer books, like that tabletop game kind of thing with the little guys you paint and stuff. And I'm looking through one of the books one day when I'm sitting at the studio, and I asked him if I can borrow it to look at the art. And I borrow it and I'm looking through the art. And it was like some alien race called Tyranids, which are like xenomorphy kind of guys. And I ended up drawing one of them one day, and I brought the drawing in with the book. He's like, do you want to learn how to tattoo? I'm like, I guess, why not? I'm working at a pet store taking care of saltwater fish, which is like, Dahmer, dude, it's fun, but also this is like selling fish to Dahmer. I didn't actually sell fish to Dahmer, but he used to come into the store I worked in Milwaukee. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. young Jeff. So
You're lucky to be sitting here, bro.
No, I'm like the wrong age and race for,
Yeah.
for
Good point.
Jeff, you know.
Good point.
Actually, probably the right age at the time because I was
Yeah.
like 16, 17, and he liked the kids.
He didn't think you were hot.
No. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's sad. You said that,
it's
dude.
like,
You know what I mean?
Too hairy for him.
You got to get a
Yeah.
t-shirt.
Yeah.
Dahmer didn't think I was cute enough.
Yeah.
Boo-hoo.
Then I turned to gangs and drugs to console myself because I was so heartbroken. Jeff didn't like me. But I wasn't really doing anything with my life. So I said, yes, let's do it, you know?
Yeah.
So I started an apprenticeship. Guy's name was Chris Elishewski. I have no idea where he is these days, but fucking thank you, Chris, wherever you are. But I was a mess, dude. I was drinking a lot, got into pills, and total shit show ensued from there. So I made it maybe 3, 4, 5 months into this apprenticeship, which was kind of like your standard apprenticeship story that you hear from a lot of people. Like, hey, you want to apprentice and like clean the toilets and like scrub some tubes. And I'm going to tell you to like maybe use more green soap and have at it, kid. I was doing horrible tattoos, but I had my foot in the door somewhere. Did not last long. And it's just a total mess.
Because the drugs.
Because the drugs,
drinking and-
everything, man. Yeah, everything. Like it was just, my head was not in the game as much as I thought this was cool. You know,
Well, let me pause you there because I
Pause.
know where you're about to go.
All right.
I've heard a bit about that part of your life. I
Mm-hmm.
think Sean might share something similar, and I want to merge the two stories after Sean has his shot. But before you go, Sean, one thing I loved about that, because I often reflect back on, I was similar in not every way, but this
Mhm.
like need to draw all the time.
Mhm.
And now reflecting back, I realized it was literally a form of meditation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, the noise of life, the anxiety I was feeling from a divorced family and you know, partying and drugs and chaos that was happening around me. That was the one place I could go where that little voice in my head
Mhm.
is talking to you all the time. And especially back then, not saying pleasant things,
Yeah.
you know? And so it was like you would draw and then it would shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And I would just go hours. And then,
Yep.
so I do meditate now on occasion and I realize it's the same thing I'm trying to do. And yeah, so I just think it needs to be noted that I think a lot of artists, musicians, and different people that do things like this, they're just meditating,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's cool because in that meditation you end up with a skill,
Yeah.
which is awesome, you know.
Fire, dude.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
super fire.
It is.
Yeah.
But Sean, let's switch it to you real quick. Same
All right.
question.
Okay, so I was born in '84 in Staten Island, New York. We lived there for a bunch of years, and my dad was like still, you know, he was still doing the drinking and doing his thing and partying and shit. Eventually, he got his shit together. We moved to New Jersey from there, and my mom would still work like in Manhattan, so I go into the city with her and stuff. And when I was a kid, we'd go to Manhattan all the time, and I remember seeing subways like blasted with graffiti, and I was like, oh, I remember asking like my mom, like, how did they get paid for this? She was like, no, they like go to jail, dude. And then get fucking locked up, dude. And I was like, they like it that much. It's got to be sick.
Willing to
you
go
know?
to jail for
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And then like, so I was always interested in that. And I remember thinking it like wasn't like hoity-toity too. Like that looks cool. You know what I mean? As a kid, you know?
Yeah.
And then in New Jersey, I started like skateboarding and stuff. And like those two cultures kind of ran hand in hand, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then you'd skate like during the day and then you go out, write graffiti at night, you know, did all that. And then, you know, hanging around like that long enough, you start fucking, you know, doing drugs and shit, dude. You know what I mean? Remember, I got hurt skateboarding and I was like sponsored and stuff. So the one thing that was like meditative besides drawing, that was my thing. I thought that was my ticket out. Like, I'll probably move to California and go pro, dude. And my knee got blown to smithereens and then I started drinking and then just kind of lost, man. You know, I went to art school for a bit and I mostly just like went to a couple classes and drank and shit. You know what I mean? Like wasted opportunity there. And then, I don't know, dude, like, I was living with a tattoo artist and I was all screwed up, messed up, like just totally lost, you know, like no direction in life really to go. And living with a tattoo artist and we had like a house party and the owner of the shop that he worked at came through and she goes, oh, who painted that there? I was like, me. Fuck is it to you? You know, like total dickhead, you know? And kept looking at other shit. You should come by the shop. For what? You know? Oh, you can work the desk. Like, my boy was like, yo, no, do that shit. And I was like, oh, all right. And then, I did that. And they're like, all right, you can fuck up, man. You should like quit this whack ass job you got and you should just do this shit. And I was like, well, how am I going to feed myself? Like, you figure it out, dude. So I worked like part-time in the morning at a restaurant, which like, there's no tips, dude. Lunch crowd, like nothing. Then I would take the bus to Elizabeth in New Jersey and apprentice there. And that was like a real old school kind of apprenticeship. Like I would have to make coffee for her. She was like a little lesbian biker chick, and like real ghetto and shit. And if I didn't make the coffee right, if it was a little off, she would throw the hot coffee on my face. And like, whoa. Yeah, it was crazy, dude. They covered me in syrup and feathers and dropped me off in front of the projects in North Newark and took my phone and my wallet, and they're like, shit doesn't go right in a tattoo. You need to learn to adapt, overcome, and improvise. Peace. And slept in the middle of the fucking night, dude. And I'm like, oh, fuck, dude. And I got home, I like begged this bus driver, like, fam, look, like I'm really caught up out here, dude. And he let me get on there, and I like rode to like the county I lived in, and I like 1-800 dial ATT the motherfucker to come and get me, and like just put garbage bags on your seat, bro. I'm fucking hemmed up out here. And yeah, they would do crazy shit like
You look like Joe Pesci in Home Alone.
Bro, I looked hard. Yeah, like for real, I did. Log cabin syrup and feathers from a pillow, dude. And then another time they would be like, okay, Sean, if you don't do this right, you're 100% fired. I'm like, all right. I guess today is the day of the week where they pull this one on me, right? And they're like, you got to walk to the other side of Elizabeth and come back with one bracket. And if you smell like sweat, if you smell like man in here, you're fired. Because this is a chick, you know? And I was like, all right, well, how can I do this? So Elizabeth's a little bit hood. What's a lot of bit hood? But it was like during the like big white t-shirt era, like the Fat Joe lean back shit, like with the pink and the white one. So I was like, I bet you I could pass one of the dudes selling shit out of like his car or like a shopping cart on the way back. So I walk to Home Depot, I get the bracket, and I'm like trying to walk like this so you don't sweat on yourself, dude, you know?
Right.
Yeah,
Wings
it
out.
doesn't work. It's July and it just rained. I'm getting cooked, man, you know? And yeah, I wound up buying like a humongous 5X pink t-shirt off a dude from a shopping cart that was like just around the hood pushing it. And then I bought like Axe body spray at Pathmark and like laced myself, and I didn't get fired, dude. You know? But then I wound up getting arrested because I had like an open warrant for graffiti, and I got arrested in Newark, and I was like resisting and some drunk people stuff. And then, you know, got locked up in there, and I was like, oh shit, like this is real. Like people in here, like this is like life for them, dude. I'm like, it's like, you got like an option, like, well, I could like get the hell out of here and like try to change it, or like that's what is gonna be. Like I'm gonna be fighting people over canteen and shit, dude. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm good, dude. So yeah, obviously when I got home, they didn't hold my spot at the apprenticeship, dude. You know what I mean? So like I tattooed at my parents' crib, and I was like tattooing people from parole and probation, like in their house and shit. Like my mom's making fucking sauce, and I'm like tattooing some hairy guy's chest. Kitchen there and shit. It's crazy, dude. But yeah, that's like how I got here, dude.
That's cool. Yeah.
Interesting.
It is interesting. A lot of I don't know, commitment in there, you know? I feel like in life, like everything good I ever did, there's always like, I call them firewalls. Like the universe does it on purpose.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't let you have anything you want.
Super easily, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, think if it did, like that would develop zero character in anybody. Mm-hmm. So when people hit firewalls and obstacles, I'm like, and they're like, God damn it. I'm like, no. That's like what's guaranteed going to happen. The question is, are you going to move through it, or are you going to turn away? And a lot of that story I just heard out of you is you move through it, you know?
Yeah, you get like a certain point. You don't have like, I'd screw up so much. You don't have like a whole lot. Same with you, I'd imagine. You don't have a whole lot of options. You know what I mean? I got kicked out of one of the better art schools in Manhattan because I was an idiot and like wanted to sell drugs, like watched too much Tony Montana and shit. And then like, you know, what other skills did I have? You know, I got in trouble so much. I wanted to be a teacher. I couldn't do that. They're not going to let you teach kids. You got charges on you for drugs. There's no way, dude. There's no way they're going to let that happen, dude. So it's like, you know, you get those options. You look in the mirror and like, be honest with yourself. You're like, well, what can I do? It's like, I could work construction. I could be a barber, or I could try to make something with art. And like tattooing pretty much saved me from, you know, making that fork in the road, you know?
Saved you from you.
Pretty much, yeah, absolutely.
It's another example of, now I'll caveat this. People experience tragedy, like actual tragedy. Your child dies. I mean, there's a lot of stories of bad shit that it's hard to tell a person like that, oh, you know, don't worry about that. That's just a lesson. You got to see the positivity in this. You know, those are the acute caveat I'm going to give. But let's take that out of it. Let's just take it, you know, stuff like you're talking about. You go to prison fucking, I'm sure you would say today, thank you. That was perfect.
Yeah, he went to prison. I just went to jail a whole bunch of times.
Okay.
I actually extended my lessons, made it longer. I turned it from a multiple choice to an essay. You know what I mean? He picked quick, let's fucking fully sink the ship and then sit on the couch for a couple years and boom, you know what I mean? I was like, let me just do some bumps of badness and stretch it as far as I can, dude, you know? So in some ways, I almost like envy Mike couch time. Because I probably stretched all my bullshit on for like another like fucking 8 years that didn't need to go.
You didn't get a
way,
real
dude.
rock bottom. You got a halfway.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I, like, that was enough to get me like straight. But then, you know how tattooing is. I won't name any names, but you meet some of these people who are like LeBron and Michael Jordan of this shit. And they're like, take a bump, dude. And what are you going to say? I should have said no, but I didn't, dude. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had to relive that shit again, you know? And then consequences get real enough and you got to make a choice, you know?
Yeah. I guess my point only to that was for people that are getting kicked in the dick, like just be patient because most of the time it's probably one of the best moments of your life.
Yeah.
The pain you're experiencing right now. And I try to remember that because, you know, pain comes and goes in life. It's a constant. I don't care how much money you make or how much you work out. Like something always comes around the corner and slaps you. So I always immediately, the older me, the 53-year-old Aaron, I'm always like, ow, that hurt. What's the fucking lesson?
Yeah.
Because I've also learned when you don't learn the lesson, it instead of slapping you next time, it punches you in the teeth. And then you don't learn that one and it fucking takes a hand. Like I'm ready to learn. Yeah. So I'm just like, I'm hearing, let's learn so you don't fucking kill me. You know, so I just trying to illustrate, like it's an important philosophy.
If something bad's happening, I feel like it's like clearing out some room for you if you're ready for something super dope that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I had a horrible past like 3 years, like went completely bust, you know, moved to Florida. Things were going, you know, everything went bad. Hell, all kinds of crazy shit, dude. I completely went bankrupt, everything. And then now, like I'm on the other side of that and shit is like so good. Like every day I wake up, my marriage is better than it's ever been, dude. Like my kids are doing great, dude. I opened a location in May and I already have to open a second one because we outgrew it already.
That's right.
And I'm like sick, dude. Like fucking Robert Hernandez is coming to do collab in my shop. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And how much better does that feel because of how low?
Yeah, without the rain, the rain, the sunshine doesn't get appreciated,
and
man.
some of the lower lows you feel make the highs like that much more enjoyable.
You gotta have contrast.
Exactly.
Just like good art.
Everything.
Just like a wave, man. It's like people surfing, dude. You know. Sometimes
cool.
you get to catch it. Sometimes you got to let it roll by or whatever. Yeah.
There's another one, though. Bankrupt and busted. Fucking best thing that could have happened.
Yeah. No, definitely. At the time, it was the worst thing ever, dude. I had like tubes up my dick and couldn't work. And my daughter's being born. And I'm like on Percocet and peeing blood with stents in there. You know what I mean? And then fast forward 2 years later, I'm like, everything's changed. I started trying to take care of my health. Fucking business is going good. Me and my wife worked out all of our nonsense finally. Like shit is like happy at my home, dude. Just bought a house. Great, dude.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, dude. Thank you.
And it's a beautiful story because a lot of people they're not where you're at. They're at the part before you're talking about.
Oh, it's dark when you're over there, dude.
Yeah.
Like you can't see it. This fool's going through the same shit.
And
but
you remember that ad years ago? It was like a Prozac ad and a little cartoon and this black clouds just kind of there's so many people still in that place or like have never left that place. But I feel like if you felt that place, it's just better. Like you said, it's like contrast. Yeah. And that relates to everything in life.
Yeah. That cloud's trying to force you to like, okay, you're some clay right now. And we're setting up these opportunities down the road, but you got to change the form to be able to accept it. You got to cut away some of the stuff that is that's only going to hinder, that you can't bring with you on this part of the journey. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had a guy on the show. He put it this way. It's not what you need to do to create happiness in your life. It's what do you have to undo to allow it in.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's 100%.
It's just there around you.
Yeah.
Happiness, success, all this stuff's there. The question is, what am I doing that's not allowing it in? And so it comes back to personal responsibility. It takes away the power from the shitty boss. It's my shitty boss. It's the taxes, all this finger pointing. It goes back to, okay, maybe some of that is hurdles to overcome, but what am I doing? How am I behaving where I'm not allowing opportunities to propagate into my life? Yeah. Or when they come across my table, I'm ignoring them or dismissing them because I'm not good enough or I want to see the bull. That's probably a bullshit opportunity. Everything in my life's been bullshit. Why would that be anymore? You know, so it's
kind of like a victim mentality in sense. That's not the right word. I feel like what you're saying is 100% true. And it, in my mind, relates to a lack of personal responsibility in like humankind and American culture. It's like all this stuff is around you. All this stuff is obtainable. It's like, A, how brittle or strong is your spirit to get where you need to go? And then B, what do you need to pay attention to? Where do you put your energy instead of focusing on like taxes or my shitty boss? Fuck your shitty boss. You know, it's like, this is all your responsibility and in your power to make happen. Like there's a way to make it happen. It's just focusing on like, how do I do that instead of what's standing in the way?
And I think if you go one layer behind that, and I've tried to find a layer behind this one, but I can't find it, you'll end up in one place, which is your amount and level of self-love.
Yeah.
Like, because none of us love ourselves perfectly. You know, I look in the mirror, I love myself, but there's shadow areas of myself that I'm disappointed in.
Right.
There's fears I have that I attach to. But the deeper that self-love can get, and how do you get self-love? Well, you can't hide from yourself, right?
Yeah.
So you know when you lie, you know when you do something shitty, whatever it is. And so you have to live a moral life. If you want to look in that mirror in a few years and love the person staring back at you, you better do right by fucking everybody all the time. And the more you do that, the more you respect yourself. The more you respect yourself, the more you love yourself. The more you respect and love yourself, the more you're like, when you see the eyes staring back at you in that mirror, you see a person that deserves things. Like, oh, that guy's a good dude. He deserves happiness.
Yeah.
Fuck, I've done hard things that weren't easy to help myself and to help others. That's the kind of person that deserves more love, more finances, more all these things. So kind of is sort of the point where it all boils down to is, you know, working on your ability to love yourself. And then of course, the level to which you can love yourself is the exact level you can love others.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you got. You cannot fake more. You can fake it, but no.
Yeah, it's not going to last.
It's not going to
Yeah, it's going to be disingenuous.
Disingenuous. So you want to be a rad husband. Well, what's a wife want? She wants someone who loves her deeply. Well, work on loving yourself deeply then, so you can be that.
Put your own oxygen mask on first, dude.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's cool, man. But these are all, like, are we, you know, is this just a big school? Kind of feels like it sometimes.
I feel like it's like
every day
like
is school in a sense, depending how you look at it. Like
school for souls.
It feels like this is like, I don't know, like a spiritual simulation where you come here to like, I don't know, figure something. And I you know, I'm sure people will not like this, but I feel like whatever goes on in consciousness, whatever term you want to say, God, the universe, whatever you want to say, right? I feel like there's a good chance you got to say in where you land on what part of the game you're about to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like whatever you're going to experience those things because that's what you need or whatever, you know?
100%. And that sounds like you're pitching like a theoretical idea, but you know, and I know the longer you live, it's not theoretical. You see it. You get to know anybody deep enough and they're all getting exactly what they wanted.
Yeah.
Some people want chaos and violence. They get it. Some people want peace and love. They get it. Like we all get what we want. We all get to be right. Yeah. You know, what are you saying the world is? Because be careful. What you say it is what you get.
You manifest and what happens.
Yeah.
100%.
And that word manifest, it's like, I get what you mean. I don't use it as much anymore because it incites a lot of self-help books and stuff that I don't think people that read these books are getting deeper of what they're all right, but I go more to like practically what I'm factually seeing with my neighbors, with my parents, with my people I know deeply. I know some people that have been choosing who don't love themselves, who choose fear and hatred. And it doesn't happen right away. It takes years, but you follow them along long enough and you just see that vibration around them.
Yeah.
They'll of course, they're still in the finger pointing phase. They're like, can you believe all my neighbors are assholes? I always knew.
Yeah, but what's the common denominator there between all your neighbors? It's you.
Yeah.
You're that fucking asshole.
Yeah.
That's it, bro.
Water seeks its own level too. Like the common denominator is always.
Yeah.
So you don't got to get into like molecules and God.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think that's in there somewhere, but fuck it. Leave it over there. Let's just get down to brass tacks. I don't know why. I don't even fucking care anymore. I just know that that's what's happening. I've seen it too many times. It's proof. So knowing that's what's happening, you play the game way different, you know, and that's a cool insight to gain. And you got to get kicked around, I think, a lot to get that insight, or be around people who are still making those choices to kind of observe that and be like, I'm seeing a fucking pattern here.
Well, I'm grateful that happened because, like, for example, I won't name any names, but we have a couple homies that they thought the world was one way, and then 2020 happened, and they're like, oops, what? These people don't care about us? And, you know, whatever, dude. And I was like, oh, yeah, they never did, dude. It's you that's got to care about you, dude. You know what I mean? Like, the world is a different way, dude. You gotta, I don't know, dude. It's like you gotta trust, like, not what's being said, but like how things move. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, look at the way things are, right. What's actually happening day to day, not what's the words you hear coming.
Yeah.
My dad always said the worst 2 sentences you ever want to hear in life is, we're the government and we're here to help you. And you hear those words, antenna should go up. You should be paying. You should be hyper vigilant. Yeah. I'm not saying they don't help. Sometimes they do, but you got to really be like, okay, what is it you want to help me with, and how? And you got to fucking listen carefully, because a lot of the time that's not the case.
Yeah,
people and self-interests and things like this. You know?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we want to help. It's not we want to help. You.
Yeah. We're helping someone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was
probably BlackRock, but not probably not you, dude. You know what I mean? Yeah.
100%.
And it's also like, you think about the kind of person who wants those kind of positions. Like, you want to be the CEO of BlackRock, or you want to be the president. Think about, you want to be the president, right? You are the kind of dude that's going to look in the mirror and go, I'm the fucking guy, dude. I'm the only fucking guy that could do this. Fuck everybody. That's me, baby. That's a little bit of at minimum narcissist, bro. You know what I mean? Those are the kind of people that end up in those spots, dude, you know? It's not like, it's very rarely is it like your Gandhi type. You know what I mean? Or your whatever archetype you want to pick. You know, it's very rarely is it the Buddha or Jesus. That's fucking, you know what I mean?
Actually, it's not that rare. A lot of them try. But the system, they're not compatible. So your little political career starts off, you want to run for mayor in your little town. Very quickly, your political career isn't going to go very far, because you're not willing to do some not positive things that are in the best interests of the population. Yeah. And so you get burnt out and you leave. Yeah. And so who rises and rises and rises all the way to the top?
Who's willing to do the underhanded thing, dude? Yeah.
Sociopaths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People that can look at like whole populations of people as like a number.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like a game of Risk or something. That's who, you know what I mean, ends up in those spots, dude.
Capitalism forces sociopaths to the top economically.
Yeah.
I mean, think you got two CEOs.
Yeah.
One is reading Eckhart Tolle, meditating,
eating
mushrooms and realizing, fuck, I'm connected to everything.
Yeah.
Every stranger's face, I'm looking at myself.
Yeah.
Well, you don't hurt people when you come to these realizations. Yeah. And so then he goes to his board meeting, and you got to do certain things for the company's financial prosperity.
Yeah.
He's not, the sociopaths over here going, yeah, I'll fire 1,000 people the day before Christmas. Show me the graph and the chart. That's going to benefit the company. Fucking do it. I got to go golf.
Yeah. So, straight up. No, straight up. That's, you nailed it, dude.
And it goes years and years. And then those people have children, and whether or not they're born with the DNA or not, they live in the environment. That's all they know. And then they have children. So you just see this system, political system, economic system, that drives the most thoughtless, the ones who care about people the least, towards the top of the pyramid.
Humanity and families and stuff like that are no different than like selectively breeding our food. You know, like you select the genes from this banana and this banana because you're trying to go this way. Mm-hmm. Families and children are no different than that. Yeah. Like it's a living creature. It's the same thing. You're just selectively being bred in this direction.
Yep. Yeah, oh no, dude. That's flavor. That was always what like drove my attraction to like even like my wife, dude. Right? I like looked at her. I was like, so it's like 2006. I saw her. She would come into this coffee house. She was like the hot chick that worked at the fine dining next to her. Mm-hmm. I was a manager of like a bistro and coffee house. Every day she would come in. I was like, oh damn, dude. She was like smart as fuck, like hourglass, dude. A color forearm tattoo in 2006 on an educated chick. That was like, what, dude? Remember those days, dude? You know? And I was like, oh shit, jet black hair. And I saw the whole thing. I was like, smart, looks good, not out there in the streets, OnlyFans or whatever, dude. You know, and I was like, that's a solid investment, dude. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's maybe it's like the Irish in me just want to breed things, dude. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I saw that, and she saw the same thing. She's like, that over there, like children and animals are comfortable with this kid. He's a little bit lost, but like, man, he's talented or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you see something in there, and you're like, yeah, these joints combined, we'd make something sweet, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
that's how we choose our mates, and then our children echo some of those traits, whether it be how we raise them or what they're born with on a DNA level. But yeah, that happens, and it happens for people that become spiritual leaders, and real ones, not the ones that rob people, the ones that actually care. And it happens for people that run massive, powerful organizations. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these things, it's pretty fucking obvious. I mean, we're sitting here just like doing a duh moment. Yeah. I just don't know. I've said this similar talks to other people who are just looking at me with doe eyes, like, what? You know, and you can see the light turning on. Like, I never even thought of it that way. Like, yeah, how well are you going to do in a capitalist system when you care about everybody? I mean, there are some things. Luckily, we found one.
Yeah.
Tattooing it, that's what's beautiful,
it's
right?
One of the few modes of anything where the level of care and thought you put into it directly positively correlates to your success.
Yeah. How rad is that?
There's not many things.
It's fire.
So we're so
that
lucky.
work that way.
It's like
it's one of my
you can
favorite
see when
things.
you put in the tank.
It's my favorite.
It's one of my favorite parts of tattooing.
Oh my God. I look at my friends, so many good people too, but you know, they go to work and they don't get to come home with that.
No,
You know,
dude.
they got to go to work, crunch numbers, whatever it is they do. They don't get to come home and be like, yeah, what did you do today? Oh, I just took care of people, loved on people, gave them all my creativity and all that. And they paid me money.
Yeah.
What a fucking way to end a work day.
Yeah, what a novel concept.
It's so good,
wild.
Dude.
Like,
so good. And then like whatever your art is putting out, like I attract a certain kind of person.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like, and you do as well.
For sure.
Like Mike's work is like very melancholy. His song is like a living Radiohead song. Like if you look at it, like, you know what I mean? It's got like a little somberness to it. Like, of course he chose heroin. You know what I mean? Yeah. Of course, and it's gray tones, right? Like, so of course, like his drug of choice was heroin, dude. I used to smoke crack. Look, it's all vibrant and crazy and shit, dude. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like the stuff that I'll do tends to attract like people that eat mushrooms, people that other artists, people that are on some kind of creative, or like honestly a lot of conspiracy people too. You know, we'll pull up on that too. But you attract a certain kind of person. And like when I'll see his client walk in, like say we're doing a guest spot or something together, I'm like, oh yeah, you're definitely here for Mike.
Yeah, just by looking at it.
I know, dude. I know. I didn't even see your tattoos. You could be wearing a North Face, and I know you're here for Mike, dude. You know what I mean? Like when my client walks in the shop, you fucking know, dude. Like this guy looks good. Nut job. Yeah, it's definitely here for Sean, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's art form has a very unique signature.
And it's like it has like a dog whistle frequency. You can't hear it, but it's like there. It's like going honestly, out, dude.
There's something 100% to that. Like what you're making, is a part of you and your personality, and then you attract a specific group of the population to that. There's just so many nuances in everything you do, personality wise, lifestyle, upbringing, just every facet of your personality shows itself in your work, whether it's conscious or not, whether it's like an artist realizes it or not. And then those are the people you attract.
That's another layer to why this work is so rad, right? You end up, maybe not in the beginning when you're grabbing walk-ins, you end up with people that aren't your frequency.
Develop something more specific.
Totally. And then every day, almost every client that sits with me, I'm like, I could be like one of your best friends. Like, let's hang out, you know, and you do that for 30 years like me, man. I was just telling my wife the other day, I'm like, I can't believe my Rolodex. Like I've got 2,000 cell phone numbers in here of people that I know are amazing human beings.
Yeah.
And they're all, you know, at the end of large projects like we do, they're close. You can call them.
Yeah.
They'd be stoked to see my name pop up on their ID. You know?
Well, it's like my client I tattooed here yesterday. She's gone all over the country from Sacramento. And like we all went to dinner last night. And you're like, yeah, you're in the crew now. You could be one of, you're like with it. Yeah. Maybe we'll give you Bobby's spot, dude. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, she was like one of us, dude. It was like, it was almost like it's like the female version of one of us, basically. Yeah. So it's cool, man.
And kudos to those out there that carry the light in the midst of the fucking darkness.
Yeah.
I do enjoy my job and I want to be able to have conversation. I mean, the show is probably an extension of this desire because here I can have these types of conversations and I don't just go to my client who probably already agrees with most everything I'm about to say because we're already like so alike for the reasons we mentioned. Yeah. Here it can go to people who maybe like, that's new, that's novel, so that's really rad. But there are people out there that have that fire burning inside them, but they got to go work on Wall Street.
Yeah.
And so they're having this even more profound effect because they're surrounded by sharks that are just like eyes rolled back looking for blood. And they're the one in the room.
Back is good.
Yeah, they're the one in the room just introducing a possibility of looking at it differently.
Yeah.
And most of them probably are just like, fuck him. Like, let's not put him on our team. Mm-hmm. But, over the course of their career, being that type of guy and that type of or girl and in that environment, probably going to have even a more profound change than maybe I do because I'm just talking in a echo chamber to my friends and my tribe, But again, the show is different because now this reaches out.
Yeah, much wider audience.
Yeah, but still probably a bit tribal. I don't think anyone's listening to the show that doesn't kind of get me a little. Yeah. I don't have the fucking, sociopathic banker tuning in today.
No.
I don't think so.
No. Probably not, dude.
No.
8 seconds tops.
Yeah, really.
So.
What the fuck? Click.
Yeah.
Next. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not coming up on his up next when he's watching YouTube videos.
I thought he's been watching YouTube, dude.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right. He's on some darker websites than that.
Yeah.
Dark web shit. We've skipped ahead a little bit. I did catch your story, your whole thing, struggle with drugs, alcohol, the wake up moments. And I know that I stopped you earlier, Michael, but let's hear just a bit about that because I know that you had a similar experience.
Yeah. My life experience, 20s, late teens, pretty similar to Sean's. Where did we leave off? I was like doing a little bit of apprenticeship.
Yeah. But then you had said like
into drinking and drugs and all that. And it was part of that was actually similar to the effect of art in the sense of like my mind shutting down, shutting off, quieting. It's not like chasing its tail all night. So there was a similar like refuge in that, I suppose. And it just spiraled, dude, to the point I was slamming dope. I was doing heroin. I was like totally unemployable, totally irresponsible. And just every like negative connotation of a junkie was me. Like if it wasn't bolted down, I'm selling it so I can get some dope. Ended up in and out of jail for a couple years, not long, a few days, month or two at this point, here, month or two at this point there. And then I ended up like completely homeless because going in and out of jail. And this is like one of Sean's favorite stories. He probably tells it better than I do.
The best story.
But in and out of jail, can't leave this alone. I'm just like hopelessly addicted. I've given up everything at this point. I've given up friendships. I've given up trying to tattoo because I couldn't responsibly do it, but that's the furthest thing from my mind. Other people realized I couldn't responsibly do it. So you're like, nah, get lost, kid, Yeah. So I'm in basically what amounts to a halfway house at this point, getting drug tested, and I cannot stop doing drugs, and I'm pissing lava into these cups. Like there's no passing these tests. Like it's rough. Like hot, these cups are melting. And finally they're like, you know what, sir? Like you got to go back. We're going to go, sit you down on like real timeout for a little while. You're going back to jail. And I'm thinking, well, cool, I can go do that. Or I can just run to my room real fast and grab something and jump out the window and run off. And that's literally what I did. Run to my room, grab whatever I could fit in my pockets, open the window, jump out the window, which was not on the first floor.
But not the fifth.
No. Okay. No, it was like...
What's the number here, man?
No, it wasn't that high. Back to the whole skating as a kid thing. I'm not that athletic, but I knew how to hit a roll from a second or third floor window. You
knew how to not hit jail, dude.
And ran off because that was, in my mind, the lesser of two evils at that time. I just didn't want to get sick, like dope sick. It's like the gnarliest feeling in the world because you also know, I can fix this really easily. This shit is so fucking evil, honestly. And ended up literally sleeping under a bridge for a few months, just every day in and out, hustling up some money, getting what I needed to get high that day, eat something. I was a fat junkie for some reason too. I was like,
Yeah, you're like a rarity, dude.
260 pound, 6 foot heroin junkie. This shit makes no sense. Just scrounging up what I
Panhandle
needed.
game was
Dude,
tight.
I was amazing. Dude, I was better at panhandling than tattooing, probably. You know,
I like to see your cardboard
it's on my
signs, man. They
resume,
must have
dude.
been fucking
I use
impressive.
them
Why
for
lie? I need a beard,
conventions.
dog, you
Actually,
know what I mean?
my
Yeah.
convention signs are cardboard signs for that reason.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
And
it's cool
people
as
are
shit,
kind of
dude.
like, oh, you're making fun of the houseless. Bitch, I was homeless.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's okay. Like, I got out of that, you know? But to put that in synopsis, so we're not here for 3.5 days of all the details of that, was I just realized one day, like, yo, I'm going to die. And I was cool with that.
Yeah.
And that scared the shit out of me. Like, being okay with not waking up the next day was one of the most scariest moments of my life. I called my mom, who I always had kind of a decent relationship with still at this point. She paid for my cell phone bill so my phone could stay on so she could check in on me once in a while. Called her. I'm like, I cannot do this anymore. She's like, you know what that means? I'm like, yeah, I know what that means. I have to turn myself in. She's like, all right, you want to do that? I'll buy you breakfast first, and then we'll go do that. I'm like, yes, but on one condition. You got to give me $50 so I can go
Blast
get some
off real
dope.
quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need one last trip to Mars. So this woman picks me up, takes me to go I'm grabbing dope with my mother in the car, who's 60-ish, 55 at the fucking wild. Hit a bathroom in a gas station. She takes me to breakfast, and then we go turn me in. And I remember giving her a hug saying, I'll see you in a few years. And that's wild. Like, and that's literally what it is. Like, I knew I was not seeing freedom for a few years because I was charged with robbery, and they were trying to take it a little easy on me at first. Like, all right, you don't have this long history of violent crime or anything like that, but I kept fucking up. So they sat me down, you know, like I went and sat down for years at that point. And the second day there, I'm like shivering, lucid dreaming, full on withdrawal. They'll give you some aspirin maybe. And that's like, but like opiate withdrawal won't, it's rare. It can kill you. It's not like alcohol or benzo, but you're going to like want to die. And I remember specifically vivid as shit the second day waking up, like, if I keep doing this, I will never live a productive life. I will never do anything I wanted to do when I was younger. I will just be like a piece of shit, getting high, shitting on everybody I ever cared about or come across in my entire life. Like, there will never be another positive human interaction in my life if I keep doing this. And I'm probably not going to live much longer. Okay. And that was it. Like, I've never even thought about doing it since then. Like, the thoughts never even crossed my mind. Like, it was.
Is the craving still there?
No, that's what I mean. Like, you could pull that shit out in front of me right now and do it in front of me, and I will judge you 0% and have zero will to do it also at the very same time.
Interesting.
There was
just what it makes me think
some mental line was crossed where I'm just like, I'm done. Like, we're not doing this.
I think it's bigger than a mental line, dude.
Human.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is, but that's just like kind of
that's your soul. Like, you have your mind, your ego. You're not born with that one.
No,
I mean, show me a fucking 2-year-old that knows he's looking at a tree.
Yeah.
They're just looking at a thing.
Yeah.
And it's pretty.
Yeah,
and they're
sick,
like,
yeah. And it's amazing when you're that age.
When you're that age.
You don't have
egos
the ego
are constructed.
And the societal buildup in you.
You have none of that. You have no ego. And then the ego is the thing that talks. It's a good thing. The Buddhists.
Yeah, there's like a healthy amount of it.
That's the thing, is kill the ego is some of the mantras in the Eastern spiritual communities. And I quickly realized, no, you can't kill the ego. It's the thing that goes to work. It's the thing that operates in the human space, physical space. But you do have to be the warden. You have to watch that fucker.
Yes.
Or else the nutsos are running the nut house, dude.
That's also daily work keeping that in check, though, to a certain extent. Because I agree with you in the sense that, like, some of that is healthy and a part of the human experience, but like, it's the same way you go to the gym and you do burpees to stay physically fit. You also have to stay on top of that.
But let me ask you something, because I've been friends with him for years. We never talked about that part. It's the one difference I'll say between me and Mike is I had the feeling that I was probably gonna die, and like I wanted it though, like in a weird way. Like I felt like for a lot of my career, I felt even as tattooing when I had relapse and stuff, I was like, I thought the only way that I could get things out is like I would look at a Van Gogh or a Kurt Cobain or Picasso would use women like muses. Like I thought the only way to be a real artist was to just be this tragic figure. And like I tried to kill myself and shit, dude. Thank God I was a junkie because it didn't work. I ate, I think, like, what was it? Like 20 sticks of Xanax and like 30 Roxys and drink a bottle of vodka, and I didn't even have to go to the hospital. I don't know. That was like one of those moments I was like, oh shoot,
tolerance. That's
I know. I was like, dude, crazy, but like I don't know. I like wanted that. I made it to like 35, and I was like, this is. I never thought it would go. I never would be here.
No, I never.
And then I spent like the past 5 years trying to figure it out. I tried to do it.
Yeah, I never actively tried, but that was the point where when like I kind of hoped it would happen. Yeah, was the scary point where like
no, because all the pain stops.
Yeah,
right. But also at the same time, like even in like the lowest depths of that, where it was like every day, it was just super fucking painful, like on a soul level, like you're saying. Like I still love life so much. I didn't want that to stop. Yeah. And that's what was scary, was that thought was starting to enter my head. Like that was so me. Like, I don't know like how many people that how do I want to say this? Like how many people do you know that even when things suck, they love living so much as I do?
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean? Like even when I'm going through a rough time now, it's like, yeah, this is rough, but is it? Comparably, I went from like being when you're a junkie, you're not even a human being anymore. You are, like, but you've lost so much of your humanity. Yeah, you're just like on autopilot, to going to prison, getting out, going back. And that's when it was second day, like, I can't do this, like that's, if I could like find some sort of way to enjoy living in prison. Yeah.
You'll find it out here.
I'll find it out here no matter what. Yeah. And you were saying earlier something to Sean about like, are you thankful for that? Or are you glad that happened? Something about that. Yeah. And I look at that like that was one of the most pivotal, important moments of my life. And I wouldn't change any of that. If I had a time machine and I could go back and like dial a life, like build a life, I would change none of that. Like I would do all of that. I feel like I'm a better person for that. I feel like I learned a lot about myself through that. I feel like there was a lot of positive character development through that. I feel like I learned things I wouldn't have learned otherwise between both experiences. And I got out and I clung to the idea that I want a tattoo. And all I did, man, was draw and work out. I kept to myself. I wasn't running around doing all this dumb shit. Like I sat there and I drew. And I worked out every day. That was my life. And kept to myself. Will make a phone call once in a while. I got out a week later. This was November 11th of 2014, because that was my mother's birthday. And she came to pick me up.
That's cool.
From there.
That's super cool.
Maybe a week or two later, sometime in November, I started tattooing. I was walking around with this, at this point, 10-ish year old portfolio of bad apprenticeship tattoos, like maybe 10 of them, and a big Bristol pad of charcoal drawings that I had done, looking for a job. And everyone's like, nah, get the fuck out of here, kid. And finally I walk in this place, no sign on the window, anything, but go in here. Woman's looking through this. She's like, what are you looking for? I'm like, I'm looking for a job. And she gets to the charcoal drawings, guy working there behind her. She's like, can you come here? He comes up, same thing. He's like, what are you looking for? And I'm like so frustrated at this point, because like everybody said, nah, beat it. And I literally word for word told this guy, I'm just looking for a fucking job. Yeah. Like just like that. And he's looking through the charcoal drawings and he's like, you know what? We got no sign. This isn't kind of like that scenario. You're never going to get business here, but get in the car and I'm going to take you to my homie shop and get you a job right now. And that's what happened. I started the next day.
That's rad.
Literally started the next day.
Fine, dude.
And I would hit the bus because like I didn't have a car. I didn't have anything at this
Yeah,
point.
my whole early career was like
6,
that too.
7 days a week. First one there, last one to leave, and just ran, dude. Like I didn't love tattooing when I started. I looked at that as this is something I had started doing before that could provide me with maybe a meager existence, but I could do something I enjoyed doing. Yeah. I didn't love it at that point, but enjoy. But by the second or third day, dude, I had never loved anything as much as I loved tattooing. Not even close to as much as that.
Dude, seriously.
And like, dude, never look back. It's not even 10 years later. And I'm like working in my favorite environments and meeting people and have like the greatest group of friends anyone could ever. It's wild to think about, dude. Like,
yeah, he saw us in San Diego. I'm in Long Beach. I'm coming right now.
Yeah, literally.
Like that
like
level.
I saw his story.
Sick,
like,
dude.
wait, you're here? I haven't seen you in 2 years, basically.
That's rad. Great. I mean, yeah, back to my point though, I think when you had that aha moment, so the baby's born, it doesn't have a personality, doesn't have an ego, but you're alive and aware. So what is that aliveness and awareness without something talking in your head?
Yeah.
We can give it a name if you want for just the sake of a conversation. I'll call it your soul.
Yeah.
There's some kind of consciousness prior to you even knowing your own name.
Yeah.
Then we go into the ego phase and do whatever we do. That aha moment, I think, is that thing you were born with. We're calling it a soul right now.
Yeah.
Finally stepping in and just being like, stop. This isn't you. This is a fabricated ego that you develop, which created insecurities and fears and all these different things, which led you to try to numb it out. Numbing it out leads to drugs. And not everyone, I mean, I think every soul yells at the body that it's occupying.
Yeah, but do you listen?
Right, because a lot of them don't, but you did. Yeah. You know, that your time in prison was a time of sobriety enough to really hear it.
Yeah, and I chose not to feed into any of that when I was in there. Like, it's easier to get dope in prison than it is on the street.
I've heard that.
Yeah, no, definitely. It just costs more, dude.
Yeah, it just costs more. But yeah, that's 100%. It was almost like an not out of body experience, but it was almost like a voice outside of me, yet was inside of me. I don't know how better to explain it. It was like, nah, we're done here.
I get it. We've all had that. Everyone listening
we're done.
has had a moment like that. It doesn't have to be kicking heroin. It could just be anything.
Anything.
You know those moments of clarity.
It shows up like how you need it.
Yeah. It shows up
whether you recognize it or not.
Yeah. Totally.
For me, it was like 100% my kids, dude.
Yeah.
And like each new kid has me like re-engage with like the freeness of making art without any of the construct that you encounter like growing up. You have kids, you know what I mean? Like, so I remember a lot of tattooers like, oh man, you're having all these kids, gonna fuck up your career. No, it actually made it better for me. You know, like I play more like with ideas and get more interested. Or like you sitting there and you're watching this Pixar movie, like, this shit's sick, dude. I wouldn't have watched this like as mama, you know what I mean? I would never looked at this like, these dudes are killing it, dude.
Yeah.
Color.
There's like a playful side to your art too.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Not playful in like a childish way, but there's like there's just a playfulness to it.
Yeah.
Well, kids awaken that part of you. Because it's always there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget about it if you're hanging out with a bunch of fucking...
A lot of adults lose that.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're around them a lot, some people can hold on to it no matter where they're at. But kids, I have many moments like that when I'm in my adult mind and they want to play hide and seek and my off the cuff reaction is no. And then I like I feel like a dick to my kid, but then two, I'm like, why do I not? I love hide and seek.
Yeah.
That was my favorite game as a kid.
Am I denying this to myself right now, dude? Yeah.
And denying the kid. So suddenly I'm in the backyard playing hide and seek and I'm like, you know, it can help to reawaken that part of us. And it's beautiful for kids, beautiful in so many ways. That's just one layer to it. But I do like the distinction between ego and the soul. Yeah. And I think what we're talking about for both of you is this decisive moment where the soul screamed out like, this is not it. Like you're identifying with your ego, and the ego is always going to tell us to do good shit, bad shit. And that's why being the steward of the ego is the real trick, right? Yeah. So I like to picture in my own head that I'm the soul, and then I hear the thoughts and I examine them just like a judge. I just look at it and go, no, thank you, not helpful.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be a good idea. And I just take in what's useful and I get rid of what isn't. You know, so you're the steward of your own thoughts. You know, all the books, Eckhart Tolle, you mentioned that. They describe it in one way. The Four Agreements.
I was just looking at that right there too.
Oh, I got his book
the
over
Four
there.
Agreements, right? Yeah.
These are some of the books that
I
changed my
recognize
life.
the top of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually a book that I read while camping for several years that helped kind of change my life. And it's easy to forget about some of the things that are in there, at least for me.
That's
like
why
the ego starts to kind of like creep its way
that's
back
why they call
in
it a spiritual practice.
Yeah.
You know, you can't, I got the message, I'm enlightened. No, you got maybe that moment you're feeling in the vibration, but then you go to work and then shit happens in life. And then you catch yourself a month later, completely not living what you read that you were claiming to yourself a month ago. This is me now.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened? You just flipped a guy off in traffic.
Yeah.
What happened? So that's a practice, right? How do you practice? Everyone has their own methods. I listen to audiobooks incessantly.
But even being aware that you're conscious that you flip dude off and wanting to pull back is progress.
Oh, 100%.
You're right. Like, because before that, you were just flipping off, and that's what I do. I flip people off, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you're like,
weird
whoa,
space
whoa, whoa.
too, though, is like,
yeah, you're in
once-
that uncomfortable change.
Once you get to the point where you're like, there, you got it right there, where you're like aware of it, but you haven't actively done anything to change it. It's like the worst fucking place to be too, because it's like
You're gonna fuck
you're not
up, man.
ignorant anymore to where you're going wrong, but yet you're not doing anything to change it.
Yeah.
Like that's this
And
weird
it's that
middle ground
moment
to be in.
of awareness.
Yeah.
If you can become aware of it, identify the problem, and then even make maybe some change, that's the moment of forgiveness to yourself.
Yeah.
That's where you're like, dude, it happened. I struck out or I used words of anger.
Yeah.
I'm now recognize it very clearly. I'm identifying it. I'm committing to doing that less, maybe not at all.
Yeah.
And I, in the same moment, completely forgive myself. I'm completely proud of myself for even having this moment, because most people live unconsciously and they don't even have that awareness moment. And therefore, I can have a little more respect and more love for myself. Back to the original point. So this is a cycle that continues, and you gain more self-love and more self-respect. And then that oozes over into your family and into your coworkers, people around you. And in that way, you are the change you want to see in the world, right? Everyone's wondering how to fix the planet, how to end war and famine, all these
Fix
things.
yourself first.
Yeah. Oxygen mask on first, dude.
That's the only thing you can do. I can't fix fucking
No.
hold back. I can do anything. But my current path, I'm putting my energy into some other projects.
Yeah.
I can't do everything.
Yeah.
But I can work on myself. And in that way, I can be an example to others, and then maybe they change a little and then echoes back like a little,
'cause
like a ripple.
ultimately you can't change anything about like other people or outside of yourself. You just have to like be the best you can be and surround yourself with people on the same wavelength, and hopefully there's some sort of ripple.
And there
beyond
is
that.
though.
You can see it though. Do you ever like walk in Manhattan and someone's, or even here, you know, a busy street, and you can see someone that's got whatever you want to call that on them, like some anger, a fucking monkey on their back, whatever, right? Yeah. And you can watch it and bump into someone, and then you see, you just pass that shit off to that guy. He's gonna spread it like a mycelium network on mushrooms. Or you can be the guy that like, dude bumps you and you're like, nope, not today, dude. And like, I guess like that moment of awareness is when you realize what's going on, and you're never gonna get it right off the rip, right? You're always gonna make mistakes, but as it goes forward, you react to that less and less.
You contribute to that less.
Yeah, and you spread the opposite mycelium network out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember one of the times, like after I ate mushrooms, I like, like a dude was like gnarly like that, like bugging out at me in a parking spot in fucking Delaware. Like, got out the car and I'm like, bro, dude, I'm sorry, whatever is going on with you, dude. I hope like it gets better. I'll move, dude.
Yeah,
like, you're hurting, dude. You're hurting right now. Just we're good. And then he like stood there kind of like dumbfounded. What the fuck?
In that moment, you just moved the entire human species 1 millimeter closer to world peace and all the things we all say that the world should be like. You did that.
And then sometimes you're gonna fuck up and add to it the other way, dude. You know,
as long as most of your life is the other stuff,
or even trying, dude, even trying to do that.
Now, there's a weird thing in here though, and this is something I like to talk about. There's that, and there's boundaries.
Yeah.
So that's a funny one, because, you know, the altruistic idea of love everyone and forgive everyone is true. But in that moment, you have to create boundaries, right?
Yeah.
So I have some people that have wronged me, and I have meditated and deeply, and I truly forgive them. Like I see that it was just ignorance. Like They didn't want to do that. They were a little baby that had no intention of hurting anything ever, not even a butterfly.
Yeah.
But I don't know their childhood. I don't know what the fuck happened. It led them to a place where they did this to me.
Yeah.
So boom, forgiveness. Now, boundaries, they're not allowed in my businesses. Don't call me.
Yeah.
I love you and I wish only the best. That's this right here, because a lot of
that's
people,
what,
when you tell them to forgive, they will go into a mind fuck of what they think you're saying is allow.
Yeah.
My uncle raped me and you want me to forgive him?
Yeah.
So they hear in that, so I'm okay with people doing that to me. I'm not. So because I'm not, I'm gonna maintain this resentment. I'm gonna hate him till he dies.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking make a voodoo doll and put pins in its head.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, they're living, but
Have a bag full of his chest hair.
Yeah, freezing the block of ice.
This chick that he dated was on
I had a neighbor that did all that shit. She's like, just get a picture of him and put him in your shoe. I was like, that's kind of cool, actually. But yeah, I get what you're doing. It's resentment that you won't haven't let
You're
go
just
of.
hurting yourself ultimately.
Because you're carrying that thought around, right? And we just talked earlier about you end up with a bunch of friends and neighbors and people around you that are like you.
Yeah.
So if you're really resentful holding on to that, you'll end up with a bunch of buddies
what's
that are
around
like,
you.
I hate a couple dudes too. In fact, I think we should do something about it. You in? Next thing you know, you're fucking driving somewhere to beat somebody up. You're like,
yeah, dude.
like, whoa,
Yeah.
how did I end up? But it's a cycle and it gains momentum, right? So forgiveness, love with boundaries is sort of a mantra I try to remember, But on this note also of soul, I'm going to switch it up a little bit now. This notion of like, we have this ego that goes out, goes to work, it starts cars, it does a lot of functional things. And then we have this soul that we were born with before the ego. And when I'm being creative, I often, I've come to, for me personally, the conclusion that I don't think I'm actually creating. Like maybe I just mean my ego.
I think you get like airdrop from
that's the word.
The source, dog. Do you know what I mean? Like
that's the word.
And that little baby that you were was an antenna for that. And I think like everybody is like an antenna for something. It's like whether you recognize it, act on it, and go for it. Because it's scary to go for, like we said, there's no guarantee of stability chasing art. It's on your heart. Like some people might be like, you know what, that's a little crazy, dude. I'm gonna make sure I paint on weekends and I'll get my creative outlet. I'll be cool. And that's totally cool. Some people are like, nah, dude, this is so,
we're going for it.
I have to get this out. Like when I look at like Bensinski's paintings, like I think if that dude didn't paint that shit, it would have killed him. Like when you watch it come out, you're like, whoa, dude. Like Grail would go crazy if he didn't paint that shit.
Yeah.
It has to come out, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some people, it's not like that, but they still have, I don't know. Like there's some people they're like, even when I look at my wife's art, it's so much more like mathematically inclined and stuff. And a lot of our homies are like that, and you look at that mind, you're like, you're an antenna for like a different thing. Mm-hmm. Or like, I'll talk to someone that's a physicist and you're like, nah, you're supposed to be doing that, dude. Like, you're here for this, dude. Sick. You know what I mean?
But I like the analogy you just created. I use one like the old, I don't know if anyone knows this, but they used to be like radios in your car. You would turn a dial to a different station.
Yeah.
So everything's out there, right? Hate is out there. Violence is out there. Love is out there. Art's out there.
Yeah.
And you got this dial. And where you tune that dial is what comes through to you.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to receive most of. So where's your dial? What is it tuned to? That's not just like in general, like moment to moment. You can be tuned into anger sometimes in a day and tuned back to love. So I'm always checking that dial. Like, what am I tuning into? Because I'm a receiver. I'm a fucking antenna. And creativity, especially big moments of like aha moments, they just do not feel like they're coming from me.
Nah, it just happens.
Dude.
Yeah.
Those are the most beautiful moments, too.
Yeah.
Like it literally just sort of happens. And then next thing you know, instead of consciously trying to make something happen for a little while, it's just like, wait a minute. I just made something completely
Novel.
Yes, that's the word. And it's almost like a few hours have gone by and you don't even like remember it.
And it was probably really difficult before you had that moment too.
Oh, it always is.
Yeah. It was probably like, oh man.
They've done brain scans on that.
No, I believe that.
That frustration moment we all have as creatives, they do these brain scans and they can see this other part of the brain they don't fully understand. It has a lot to do with love, area of love, area where they know creativity happens.
Yeah.
As that frustration increases, it starts to
Just like,
wind up.
Yeah.
And then you have a breakthrough moment. I remember that too. I always do that when I'm in my creative space and I'm having I've had 10 years ago, I destroyed my art studio one day out of frustration. Just
No,
fucking
I
threw
can-
the whole
I can
fucking
see
table
that, dude.
over.
Yeah,
You know, and now when that frustration happens, I welcome it. I'm just like, oh, I know what this is.
Yeah.
This is the part when the breakthrough's got to be really close because I'm fucking really agitated.
I'm getting stripped down, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I came to a point even a couple years ago, like so much bad shit was happening. And at first, like, why me? You know, oh, this is fucked. I'm not that bad of a guy. You know what I mean? And then you come into like an acceptance point of it. And like you said, if you can find like happiness or peace, yeah, Mike watched my dick get kicked in for a couple years there, dude. Like, and then like you get to this point where you're like, you know what, dude? I'm still alive, dude. I could be in Ukraine right now. I could be in fucking Yemen or someplace. This shit's all right, dude.
Yeah.
I'll be okay, dude. And then it's like when you get to that point is usually when it starts to change, dude.
Well, that right there, what you're talking about there is gratitude.
Yeah.
What is gratitude? Gratitude's really quite simply an awareness of what's actually happening in the moment.
Yeah.
If you think about your most painful moments, they're usually ideas. I mean, we do have acute pain. If you add up your entire life and you listed out the moments you had acute pain, emotional or physical, they probably won't amount to more than 0.5% of your entire physical existence. So that means 99.5% of the time, everything's fine.
Yeah.
But so what's gratitude? Gratitude is just saying, yeah, everything's fine. And then boom, it pours through.
Yeah.
And you're grateful for the fact you can walk. Simplest shit ever. Your toes work.
I was looking at it, I'm like, man, so what if things are not going good? I can't tattoo as much. Like, who cares if the sponsors drop me during this rough time or whatever? Like, my kids aren't dropping me. Things are getting better with my wife, dude. Like, we were in hard spots, dude. You know, and you're like, I'll trade all that stuff for this and work on this, dude. I'm going to get fucked up. And then when I got to that point is when things started to turn around.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, okay. I think I almost had like put it out of my mind because it was ego stuff. Like that was holding me back. Like I wanted you to know who I was. Like I was like Jack Rackham in Treasure Island shit, dude. You know what I mean? I wanted to be like in history books. I wanted to do something that like, even if you don't know my name, I know I was a part of something that meant something down here. Like even if I died trying, that's why I was cool with the whole dying thing too. It's just like, it would almost make a better story or something sick thing in my head, you know? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then, you get on the other side of things. You're like, nah, dude, I'm cool over here. This is, this is way better stuff than that. And like, one of my sacrifice in chasing that and overlooking, you know what I mean?
100%, dude. If you think of any day of your life, at least let's just give it a number. 1,000 things are happening around you. Your house is, it's sitting still, but it's happening.
Yeah.
You're in it. Your kid's playing in the yard. Your car starts. You brush your teeth and your hand goes right where you tell it to go. Yeah. So there's like, let's just call it 1,000 things in a day go right. Yeah. And then let's just say 5 things go wrong. And people will spend their entire day thinking about the 5 things.
Yeah. You're explaining this like this, and all I'm thinking is like the most ridiculous analogy to like your credit score.
Right.
Like, you're doing everything right. And then all of a sudden you're like 13 minutes late making one payment on a credit card and your score drops on that.
Yeah.
And it ruins your day.
Yeah. It's almost the same thing. Like you're explaining.
Yeah, it is
like,
the same thing.
Literally throughout the course of the day, everything went beautifully. And then the smallest thing can happen that's like pretty inconsequential and just ruin everything.
Yeah.
And
why?
Because it goes back to what we said this earlier. We all get to be right and we all get what we want.
Yeah.
So if your life mantra is this world's a pretty fucked up place, man. A lot of people get fucked over. So the day's going right. The day's going right.
Find them, dude.
Oh, yeah. You're ignoring your loving wife. You're ignoring it because none of this fits into your narrative.
Yeah.
The loving wife doesn't fit into your life narrative.
Sounds like my story.
Yeah.
But then, so you're almost angry that things are going right.
Yeah.
And then you're like, that one bad thing happened. You're like, there it is. Told you. There.
You're looking
I'm right. Well, we all get to be right, man. What do you want to be right about?
Yeah.
Choose carefully. Yeah, that's fucking cool. Let's take this around to tattooing. Yeah. You know, there's all these art forms, all these beautiful things to do with our lives, creatives out there doing with their lives. For you guys, what makes tattoo, I'm assuming you would call it special. I call it very special. Yeah. I do think it's actually unique. It sounds egotistical, like everybody wants to tell the world that their particular choice of art is more special maybe than somebody else's. Yeah. And they're all unique and special in their own way. But I do believe in the visual art category, tattooing is incredibly special and different than any other one for various reasons. Let's you guys fire off on that. What's so special about tattoo?
Me or you?
I'll go. I'll hit this one.
All
I'll hit this one. I like the idea that, and I like the challenge of like every person that's going to email me or say now they can pop in for an actual physical consultation or something. They have an idea in their head and they can't get it out. They don't have the ability to materialize that. I do. And it's going to come through me. So I get excited to see, like when someone emails me, I'll be like, okay, dude, don't send me pictures of tattoos. Don't send me anything. Tell me, what is your story? Why do you want to get a wolf? Why? What's the secondary part of that? Like, are you a loner? Are you, what is the deal with it? Let me know. And I'll take that information, put it with this information. And then I get to, through multiple different things, whether I'm drawing it, freehanding it, mixing media, whatever to get it, I get to bring that to life. And 99% of the time when my client, they make changes sometimes, but most of the time my clients don't. Seeing like the look on their face, like, oh man, you fucking understand, dude. And like, I'm basically giving them a painting that they can wear all the time. I'm giving them a piece of fashion that makes them feel good as hell to walk around with, dude. You know what I mean? Like it's a self-confidence booster, really nice work on you, right? And then I got to create something that isn't something I necessarily would have thought of on my own. So it's like having a collaborator that just doesn't tap. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
And it's like a beautiful fucking thing, dude. And then I like to see what influences from my life. Like when my oldest son was like Quinn's age now, he loved Tony Ciavara and Timmy B. And I did because of bonding with him, my work went in this like direction where it was like kind of surreal graffiti, new schooly realism for a bit, And there was a whole like body of work, a period that came out like with that. And like certain clients felt that and showed up during that time, right? And then my son, who's 6 now, we draw together like almost every day. And he's like, dude, he's like a little cartoony H.P. Lovecraft kid. Everything's got tentacles and teeth. And it's like, I did a whole thing 2 years ago where I would say, my son would be, this was sick. He was so sick, dude. He would go, he would say these things. He'd be like, yo, Dad, what if you drew a lava bat? What if you drew some of the other ones? He'd say like Quetzalcoatl mixed with something. I'm like, oh, dude, that's fire, bro. That's so fire, dude. And I did them for a deal and mad people got them. That's sick. Terminator Wolf, fire, dude. You know what I mean? Like you don't think of that stuff. And it's cool to see, I've been doing this almost 20 years. You've been like 30, he's 10. You've been doing it long enough to see that there is periods in it. Mm-hmm. And now instead of chasing all those accolades or whatever, like I've hit this point where it's like, what else am I going to get sponsored? What else am I going to get sponsored by? Or I don't pay for wrap. I don't pay for ink. I don't pay for needles, machines, anything like that. Hit this point where I actually wanted to own a shop now. And I want to like pour into some other people and give something back. Any of these experiences that I've had and like, L's that I've took and teach some younger cats who got promised not to take them and help them like grow without me feeling like I'm leeching on them. And I went on a tangent there. My bad, dude. But
it all fits.
Yeah, and then like so that's what I'm kind of doing right now. We're hiring a bunch of people. They're coming, and we're gonna open like another location, and we're gonna try to like every mistake that I made. Like I didn't invest. I blew out savings. I didn't get proper insurance for pirate type shit, right? And now I'm at this point where I want to open this other spot, not rock people over the head for percentages or anything like this. Not that that's a bad thing, and like. Only hire people that I really like care about and believe in. And like my wife sells real estate. Like, look, man, if you want to, we'll help you get that set up so that you could have some properties and investment things and own something or whatever. Like we fucked up everything, dude. And we've had to figure out how to not fuck up. If you want, I'm not going to push you to do anything, but if you want, we got you. And then like even changing that mind state has brought different clients now. And I find like the kind of clients that come through now, like, yeah, I guess whatever the brainwave met there. But in the time that changes over, it's weird. Like I almost had a client dry up for a little bit because I didn't know where I was going. Right. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Because you're sitting out this is like energy frequency of confusion.
I'm in between stations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in between stations.
Yeah. And then that's what I think like having that rough period got me to this point. Like I'm so happy when people even want to get work from me now. Like, look how many people there are. I'm 40 years old. You still want to fly to me? Mm-hmm. For real? Mm-hmm. Good fucking looks, dude. You know what I mean? My wife and I were talking about that whenever we finish starting in 2025, whenever you finish a project, sleeve, half sleeve, back, whatever, we want to make like a personalized like gift bag to give to you. You had a lot of options. You picked us.
Mm-hmm.
And
cool.
I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, and the question was, what's special about tattooing? And you didn't get on a tangent. That all that mattered, right? You went through your own personal connection to tattooing, the collaboration. I agree. We're going to let you go next, Michael. But what other art form do two people get to collaborate at that level? I mean, you can go to a guy and tell him to do you a painting. It's different.
It makes you go down different rabbit holes too. Like I wouldn't look up some of this shit, but I have to for work. Like even if someone wants a video game tattoo, I don't play video games. I watch every mythos of the game, gameplay and everything, and then I sit down and make thumbnails for it. I would have never looked that up. There's some cool shit in there too. There's a really cool storyline. Fuck, I'm entertained, you know?
Yeah.
It helped me look at even shit that my sons are into differently because of clients, you know? Like, you're not lame. This shit is kind of cool, dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet, you know?
Yeah, and your story, it went on to include what's beautiful about tattoo is this career that you can now expand and allow others to thrive in a platform that you're creating that's healthy.
Yeah.
And it even goes beyond tattoo. Like, look, I know you guys, the struggle of a young tattooer. They love their job. They're making decent money, but they don't know about investing. What am I going to do if my hands break or whatever? Yeah. Well, I can help you with that too. Put a little this. Maybe you guys, 3 of you could put some money together and buy this duplex together.
Yep.
Shit like that. And being able to be the person that, and that's a lot of your kind of my story is the same, So that's fucking rad. And in this whole frequency shift, I mean, hell, it's led you to the point now where you're going to be tattooing again.
Sean Ryan, dude.
Ryan.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Yeah,
but I know a lot of people listening will know who that is. I know I do. Guy's amazing. But I mean, why is Sean? I mean, you definitely announced it to your audience. You're interested in his content and his mind, and then he reached out to you, and you're going to tattoo him. But I think it's that. But it's also like your frequency is probably near whatever his is.
Well, it's real. It's like he just got baptized recently. I just got back. I mean, I checked out all the different religions and I found like what I needed. The Eastern stuff would get me to be really work on myself, but I didn't, there was no, for me, not saying anyone else, I'm never dissing anyone's religion, but for me, I felt like I needed like that sense of community. And my middle son, we kept driving past the surf church. I want to go in there. So we go in there and I was like, well, this is what I needed, dude. Like my whole neighborhood knows me, dude. Like, meet people that are good and like-minded and like want to be good, dude. So I'm like, oh, cool. So the mix of like meditation and community thing really drives it home, I think. You know what I mean?
Community, right? I mean, that's a great thing. I love all religions. I love all of them. I think there's some corrupt people in them. There's corrupt people in tattooing. There's corrupt people in government. There's a corrupt person at the DMV.
Yeah, it's no different than anything else.
Yeah,
if you take anything good, there's going to be someone that's going to want to run with it to bend it to lord over people, dude.
100%.
That's the way it is, dude.
But if you take that away, they're all fucking beautiful. You got a bunch of people getting together to do positive shit for their community and for each other.
Yeah.
What's bad about that? Nothing. So you want to be a Christian, be a Christian. You want to be a Muslim, be a Muslim. I don't care.
Well, because if you don't stray from what the core is, you're going to be a good person.
I
don't care how you got there.
To me, the issue with any religion isn't or belief system or whatever you want to call it is not the belief system or the religion. It's the fucking humans
running it.
Involved.
Yeah.
We ruin everything we touch on like a not individual level, but as like a
big organization.
Yes. Yeah. Because it always turns into
as soon as money starts moving around,
that's where it
goes. When it gets sketchy, dude. You know,
you don't find barely any corruption in organizations where there's zero money moving around.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's all from the heart,
groups
dude. Yeah,
or people to get together for draw night. That's an organization. Right. You don't see corruption there.
Nah, dude.
Now, that draw group had money flowing into it, and the best drawing of the night won $500,000.
All of
you would see that same group of artists, and a couple of them would get real nefarious.
Well, because you introduce greed into that now, and then that changes it, dude. You know what I mean? And every single religion talks not about that, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, I found, but back to the point, that was Sean Ryan went through this same kind of story, dude. And I'm like, I'm listening to his show, like me and my clients listen to all the time. Because like, what topic doesn't he hit, right? And I listen to the show and I'm like, I'm operating on something similar, some kind of path is similar to this dude. Let me shoot my shot and see if he'll, and obviously he was like, yeah, for sure, dude. Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, what about you, Michael? What's special about tattooing to you?
Almost all of it. Honestly, I'm listening to him talk, and I'm kind of I'm like not paying attention to you, and I'm trying to figure out what's important to me or special to tattooing. There's a few things that stick out. One is among arts and visual arts, it's like a direct energy exchange. It's like directly an energy exchange between two people.
Yeah,
and there's
for
something
real.
amazing about that. Like I'm drawing on you for a
And you're
ridiculous
touching,
amount of money, but we're spending the day, 2 days, 3 days, 10 days, whatever it is, together. There's like physical touch involved. There's making this project. So there's like the mental and the emotional part of it. And you're physically doing this to this other person. And painting, it's a canvas and it's an inanimate object. Sculpting, it's clay or whatever. It's an inanimate object. You're performing art and changing the appearance forever until they die of another living creature.
Yeah, sick.
And there's like, to me, a responsibility that I feel like a lot of some tattooers have, where I almost feel like they don't understand how special it is.
They will if they stay with it long enough. Not all of them. Some people stay asleep their whole life.
It's fucking incredible.
I don't know if I understood
dude.
it my first 5
No,
years.
I sure didn't. I
It
think
felt
I
powerful though,
yeah.
dude.
It felt
think I
powerful,
just
but you
powerful,
didn't. You
yeah.
couldn't have articulated it
I
like
just
that.
No way.
began to realize that in the last 2-3 years, like how powerful it is and how much I fucking love tattooing. I remember earlier saying like when I started, I didn't, but like literally a few days into it, it was like, cool, this is what I'm supposed to be doing without a shadow of a doubt. And being able to pour like the energy into doing this into another living creature is what makes it so special to me. It's not,
And that they wanted you to do it too.
that's the
Sick.
coolest part in a sense. Like, especially once you get to a point where like, I've gotten to a point where a lot of the people reaching out to me want something that I want to do on them. You know, I have a similar process to what he was describing where I ask you, you know, what do you want? But I also ask you, why do you want what you want? To me, like why has been a big thing. It's like, what makes you want that? I want to know why, because that's going to help me kind of steer things in a direction that correlates more with what you're asking for, but also in a way that I'm just going to naturally do it anyway. You know, so it gives the opportunity to interact with another human on that level. And like interacting and connecting with humans is maybe my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
So that's to me what makes it special. Is there may be other visual arts if I dig enough, but like painting, drawing, sculpting, you know, the standards, it's an inanimate object. You have all the time in the world with it. You have all the ability to continue to shape and mold and build and layer and tweak. And tattooing, you get like a crack at it. Yes, you can layer. Yes, you can change things, but it's in skin, which has a threshold. Yes, it can heal. Yes, you can change it a little after that. But like in the grand scheme of things, you get one crack at this to do this. You can't keep evolving it, you know? And there's something about the finality of that. And the irony of that is it's also temporary, because every single tattoo you do is going to die with the person it's on. So you're not creating something that's going to live forever. A painting could be restored. You know, Rembrandt's my favorite painter. I go to the Met all the time and stare at his self-portrait that's in the Met. And there's another painting right next to it. I fucking love it. But with restoration, these things could live indefinitely. You know, a sculpture, whatever. But a tattoo is going to a grave. So you're pouring this time, which is the most valuable resource in the world, into doing this. Yes, for money, but I'd also do it for free if that's what it came down to, or like buy me lunch, you know, or something.
Yeah, if I was wealthy, I'd do this shit because I love it, dude.
A very temporary thing. So it's like, to me, there's more pure love, I guess, for what you're doing. And it is cool. It's fucking phenomenal that like tattooers can make a lot of money now. But that's new. Like that's the last few years with some exceptions. But like, what did the average tattooer make 10 years ago? 30K?
Unless you made some moves.
No, I'm
or
saying
owned a
the
big shop or
average.
something.
The average.
Average is.
I have no idea, but like they weren't buying a house more likely than not. You know, they weren't going to go buy an Audi. They weren't going to go do this and that. Like now it's really cool in the sense that it can be very financially lucrative. But I think anyone who's been doing it for more than 5-6 years, pre-2018 maybe, like didn't get into it for financial reasons.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people got into it for financial reasons now. And I think that's like
recently,
the greed that's been brought in.
Yeah, but that's also going to die off.
I've seen the most
pendulum,
boring
you know?
couple of years in tattooing. the highest level execution with the most boring formulaic ideas. Like how many you seen this week? Short chick, thigh, like hip to almost ankle, lady face, paper tear, inverted geometric mandala, paper tear, animal. Yeah. I've seen like 80 of those this week. Mm-hmm. You know, I haven't seen.
I almost feel like I'm at this weird crossroads in my career too, because the things I enjoy doing were things like that. And now I'm seeing more and more and more. Like
stuff's gotten better, dude.
No, but you see me doing like so much less of the things that I did when I was starting to develop a thing that was like more my thing instead of a bunch of different things. And like,
now you stop
like I'm
tricks.
just trying to find like what's next. And one of the beautiful things about tattooing to me also is like seeing the evolution of what you're doing, like any other art form, but add into it the trust of the human, allowing you to experiment on their body. Yeah. Not experiment in the sense like, hey, I've never done this before. I have no idea how this is going to go. Let's run it. But in the sense that like, hey, this isn't so much what I've seen you do before, but yeah, let's do it. You know, there's the trust involved is really cool. Dude, pretty much everything about tattooing I love. Even the parts of the industry people like don't like, to me, I still enjoy, because it's like, it's part of the beast. It's part of the animal. It's part of what it is. And that's just, it's so cool, man. And it's also like, I like the piratey subculture kind of part of it. Not that part specifically, but just as a whole, tattooing's only recently been accepted. Yeah. More so in society. You know, you've been 30 years of tattooing. When you were beginning tattooing, or even in like 1995, like what you were doing was probably frowned upon pretty heavily. You know, like,
and I liked that part.
Yeah, I loved it, dude. I loved it.
I miss it sometimes.
No, I still enjoy that. Like I'm not like a total pirate. I pay taxes and I do things the correct way, but at the same time, like, I enjoy that, like kind of like underground counterculture-y part of it at the same time.
I like when people would see your neck and hand joints and like cross the street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
like
that,
taking
dude,
the neck and hand joints and going into a Michelin star restaurant. And they look at like you shouldn't be there, but then you leave the biggest tip anybody's left all week.
Dude,
like that's one of my favorite things about being a tattooer and being tattooed where it's visible is like, and especially given my background and like how different of a human I am now compared to 15 years ago. Like I love going into establishments and environments where I have no fucking business being on paper and being there, you know, like going to a omakase spot where like the couple next to you are kind of looking at it like, hey, we had to sit next to these dirt bags and you belong there as much as them. And then you're going to leave a bigger tip because tattooing ultimately is an art, but it's also the service industry also. So you understand how that goes and you're going to treat the people there way better than most other people will. Or like walking into a car dealership and they look at you like there's no way. And then you tell them like, I already spec'd this vehicle, order it for me. And I got the loan through my bank already. And the guy's like, huh? No. Thank you. You know, I love.
Well, you love that. I love that too. But there's a deeper layer to that. Everybody that's tattooed and everybody that does tattoos somewhere in their young adult life saw the hypocrisy of people, meaning people were judging people without getting to know them.
Yes.
And I remember as a small child seeing that happen around me and thinking, that's fucked up. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I don't care what you look like. Talk to me. I'll decide if you're what I think of you after I get to know you.
Yeah.
And so part of becoming a tattooer or getting heavily tattooed is
bucking that.
It's you're promoting the idea. And it's such a beautiful thing. If you can go into a nice Michelin star restaurant, sit down politely, maybe the table next to you accidentally starts talking to you. Well, that person, and maybe that person when you sat down was like, oh fuck, I had some dirt bags at the table. Now they walk out with a new mindset like, I should probably give everyone more of a chance. Mm-hmm. So you're like a living, walking mind changer of reality, right? Mm-hmm. We all secretly covet that.
You're standing in the gap, dude. You know what I mean? Like you're standing in between the worlds. And it's pretty sick.
Incredibly beautiful. I think I enjoy that so much.
It's good for the world. We're helping the world by doing that.
Absolutely. I think I enjoy that part of it so much from living two totally separate lives, like trying to like bridge that gap a little bit. And when you were starting to talk about that, the first thing I actually thought wasn't other society, but I feel like tattooing's gotten more popular and there's more people tattooing. Tattooing's gotten very judgy of the tattoo community also.
Yeah, dude.
Which is odd to me because the whole point of this was like individual freedom and expression. Meanwhile, we're like criticizing and judging each other.
Oh, I
and
hate
like
it.
that, like, huh?
Oh yeah, I'm
I
doing
feel
it.
like when
What are
I
we
see someone
doing
doing that,
here?
I'm like, dude,
Like there's some things worthy of criticism or judging, but like it's very few fringy elements.
Yeah.
Not dude,
I'm
it's so
doing an
weird.
anesthesia tattoo on October 4th. I haven't made it public yet. This will probably come out after I've done it. We're making a bunch of media. Well, we're going to do a bunch with it, so the world will know.
Did you get some flack for that, dude?
Well, I what I'm saying is not yet because
you're
I
about
haven't.
to, dude. Yeah.
And I mean, I got it on a one-on-one level with a few tattooers where I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing this. And, to my face, nobody was too aggressive about it. But it was sort of the idea of like, that's fucked up. And that guy shouldn't be doing that. He's kind of stupid for doing it. You're kind of stupid for being the tattooer in that room. And my thing was always like what you said, which is, whoa, I thought we came into this subculture to get away from people that try to judge others for living a life when it doesn't affect you. Like I ain't got a problem with almost anything unless you're hurting someone or hurting me, then we need to talk. But if I don't care how you want to dress, what beliefs you're, and then that's our community, right? And then suddenly you got tattooers judging other tattooers, telling another man how he should live his life the way that they live their life. I mean, you're really getting down to the source of the problem of planet Earth. This is the reason we have wars in the Middle East.
Yeah.
That guy's saying, I think it's bullshit that he's doing it, and you're the tattooer in the room. I'm like, you're no different than some dude from Hamas.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, they look at you wild-eyed, like, how dare you make the correlation?
The irony there is like, I'm not a fan of anesthesia tattooing at all.
Which is fine.
Anybody can do whatever they want.
That's the answer. That's what I tell
Would I
them.
personally do it?
That's the only answer.
Would I personally think any different of you for doing it? No.
That's
It's
the
so
only
odd to
correct
me. Like you
answer.
can have opposing beliefs on something and not fucking look at this person differently for that reason. It's so weird to me.
Well, no, because you're just offering a different experience. Like, I don't know that I would do the anesthesia. Maybe there'd be a point in time where I meet the right kind of person and that seems like a path for me. But for me and my clients, I like and I think they do, the kind of people that come to me, I think they want to earn it. They want to go through it and they get to have the victory at the end. Some other people, for whatever reason or whatever, I mean, because I'm at this point as a tattooer, if I could not feel it at 40 years old, it would be kind of sick. You know what I mean? So like, that'd be kind of tight to not be fucking dying, getting tattooed. So I don't think anything is, like, it's not my place to tell anybody shit. Like I see a true, like, fucking trans. I'm like, I got fucking tattoos on my face, dude. Like, whatever, dude. Do whatever the fuck you want, man. Are you raping anybody? You hurting anybody? No? Cool. Whatever. Do your shit, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Who
And that's one of the reasons I did it. I mean, I was never wildly interested in it.
Yeah.
And the guy that's getting this particular person, I've already done his entire back. He's got 2 sleeves.
He earned it, dude.
He ain't afraid. This dude's a tough motherfucker. I know that.
Yeah.
He's also a busy motherfucker.
Yeah.
With lots of kids and a wife and a business. And that's his thing. He's like, dude, I just want my whole front done. And I ain't got the time right now. And I got the money though. And I was like, that adds up pretty rad. Let's try it. Plus, I'm kind of excited for all the shit talking, Like,
let's do it. Cause a ruckus, dude.
I want
to like watch that with like with some popcorn and see like how that plays, dude. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Follow the show. Follow me. You'll see it launch in mid-October, and I don't think it'll be as bad as. I mean, there's been plenty of it happen already. And the voices of dissent are getting quieter.
I think my issue with anesthesia isn't earning it. It's not any of that, but it's the vast majority of the tattoos I've seen done under anesthesia are fucking bad.
Yeah, it's true.
Because
There
you have
wasn't a lot of
people
really sick
rushing.
ones.
If the tattoos were amazing tattoos,
They were coming out
kill
fine.
this tattoo and I'll love that you did it. You know what I mean?
That's our goal. We got 4 dudes working on it at once.
It's
Oh,
they
sick.
just
Yeah,
never turn
sick.
out that good.
And the 3 other dudes are like my level, illustration tattooers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's gonna be
crush
It's
it.
gonna be good.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna rush it. I mean, we're gonna work as fast as we fucking can.
Yeah.
And we may not get it done. We got 8 hours to try to finish an entire
Torso.
front, over the shoulders, connected to back, and ribs connected to back. It was just a front, no problem. So the guy knows that. I'm like, you know, you're going to wake up with a fuckload of work, but I'm not saying this is your last session, you know?
Yeah, because you think like a quadrant, like 4 guys, you got a quadrant.
Oh, yeah. We're going to
It's
get
large enough. You'll
yeah,
all be
you
able to
split it into
hammer
4.
an area.
Pretty
Yeah,
much,
exactly.
dude. Yeah.
And
Like
we can't
make the
work.
one design and then like break it down. Like, all right, I'm gonna handle this, do that. Yeah, that works.
That's what
Isn't
we're
that
going
what
to
those
do.
fucking dudes in Indonesia are doing? It's like crew of dudes. They like do whole back pieces in like a day, and there's like
I've
4 or
seen
5
some
of
of
them.
this
Just-
stuff, dude. Yeah.
It looks kind of. I never like seen it in person. So I don't know if the quality is
Man,
like. But
it's
it-
totally unrelated, but I wish I knew this guy's name because it's almost disrespectful. I don't, because I'm about to like suck his dick metaphorically a little bit. But this guy's from Thailand, and he was at Golden State last year and won something. Who cares? It's a award. It doesn't matter. But the moral of the story is it was on the same client that he had tattooed somewhere in America at a convention before. And this guy crushes. Like he crushed out this back over a weekend. One guy crushed out a leg. We're talking color. And then you get to see it healed a year or two later.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo,
sick.
you have moved incredibly fast on this thing.
Yeah.
And this thing healed and at a year plus is sitting fucking wonderfully.
Mhm.
Crush.
Yeah.
You know, whereas generally speaking, there's like a speed to quality ratio
Yeah.
somewhere. Like I'm not the slowest guy in the world, not the fastest, but this guy is smoking projects and killing it.
Well, it's like I wonder what is that. Like I know that the speed, a lot of it is like obviously good application and like a lack
Confidence.
of hesitation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
confidence.
Super high confidence. Like you make a choice and you don't second guess it at all. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. Like when it reaches that zenith though, where you're talking about someone's booking, you know, or I'll see like some of that dude dude, that dude, the
I remember the
Vietnamese dude.
name.
Yeah, it's crazy. You're like, geez, man, where are you even finding these people?
It is confidence.
Yeah, it has to be.
You mentioned technique. It's obviously technique. I mean,
Yeah.
kind of machines are running. How good of a technician are you?
Yeah.
And then the confidence thing. And then the third thing would be the type of art. You know,
Yeah.
like we got Hernan Coretta here, master of Japanese traditional. And that art tattoos fast by
Yeah,
nature.
yeah.
Just the type of art it is, you know. My stuff tattoos slower. No way around it.
Yeah.
Your stuff, color realism, even probably slower.
The
No way
slowest,
around
yeah,
it.
the slowest, dude. The
Well,
slowest.
you got to pack colors on top of colors,
Right.
and you might need a last round to get it all right.
There's a lot of thinking I have to do too. I've only been doing color for a couple years.
Oh,
Yeah, it's trippy, dude.
that's
a couple,
insane,
yeah,
dude.
a
Your
couple
color
years,
work
yeah.
is wow. That's an
The,
interesting fact.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
like a B&G clock and praying hand guy.
I
till
did like
2018,
well,
something
so what
like
happened
that.
is, dude, so I basically wanted to be like a miniature Robert Hernandez. Then my wife got pregnant, and young me is like, I cannot feed my family and provide stability like masturbating Robert Hernandez shit. So I said, okay, what can I do that I know I'll be satisfied enough and that people are always gonna want? So I started like skulls, roses, portraits. Like people are always dying, people are always being born. Skulls and roses are always popular. So I did those and I got like good at them. I said to my wife, I said like, just give me 6 months, dude. There's stuff in my head. And then if I can just get it out, I'm going to do some free pieces and some real low charging ones because people book what they see. And in 3 months, the whole landscape had changed. Like it was going to start going in this direction. And I was still doing lots of gray wash with like pops of color. And then I went to like some opaques. And at that point, you're basically doing color. But I tattooed like a black and gray guy. So I'd have these weird heels or I'd have to do another 2 sessions on it. And then you start to learn how to applicate color. And then the first couple ones, you knock them out. But then you're like, whoa, there's way layers to this. There's like all different subtleties that I wasn't aware of and how things are going to hold up. Like what color does what after 2 years? What does it do in New York versus in Florida? How does that work, you know? And that was like a little messy then. It's only like fairly recently that I felt like faster, more confident, like much more deliberate. And like, I feel like you're never going to understand it all the way, color, right? But I know like what subtleties are worth it to put in there for a tattoo and what ones are just
Waste of time.
Yeah, it's like, remember when people were doing all this tiny ass, like extra light gray wash texture all over shit?
Mm-hmm.
One trip to Daytona, that shit's fucking gone, dude. You know what I mean? Like, You just gave 5 hours to that and it made it a year. You know what I mean?
that.
Like, and that's a valuable lesson to learn. And with colors, a lot of lessons like that. And like looking at like skin types too.
Yeah, and color fastness of different colors when you're building things, dude.
Fuck, man.
Good luck doing some of the work I've seen you do on some guy that's been hanging out at the beach for 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, everyone thought in Florida that I was going to get all bad skin, but there is enough like people that take care of their shit, dude.
Right.
You know, like when one of the surfers hits me up, I'm like, dude, we're doing black and gray.
Yeah.
That's what you're
Or
getting.
check him out. Maybe he's a surfer who wears a rash guard all the time.
No, they're all cooked.
They're cooked.
Yeah, they're all cooked.
Yeah, and you can't
they're
do
like,
that.
They're like the color of the darker parts of your
like
shirt.
me
regularly.
right now.
They're cooked,
Yeah.
dude. But they can still get a sick tattoo. And you're cool, dude. I fucking want a tattoo. But we need to do, for what you're doing, we need to do a black and gray, like Robbie Latos effect, where you got massive areas of open skin, large areas of black, and contrast and like a mid-tone. You tattooing in Florida, I like lean on, if I'm going to do black and gray, I like, it's like the setup that like Robert uses where it's like the black cup and like a little cup with water, maybe like 2-3 values and pressure. You know what I mean? That seems to be real good against the skin, and it keeps you from like mid-tone fucking it to death, which like doesn't work in Florida, dude. Like you use a ton of mid, you just handed someone a fucking spooge on a napkin and told them to wear it, dude. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You just handed them dog shit and it was like, yeah, eat that bitch, you know?
Yeah.
It's gonna look cool until it heals, and then it'll look like shit forever, dude, you know?
High contrast.
Yeah, you know? But if you move to the fucking Ukraine, you could outline shit in yellow and it'll hold forever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's why those color realism guys are all coming from the Ukraine.
Yeah, they go from fucking Sweden. Like, I love that when some dude from PR hits me up and he's like, yeah, I want this shit like Samohin did. You drunk, dude? You're not even close to even, you're so much darker than even the high end of his melanin spectrum that he's tattooing, dude. We can do shit like this, but we're going to have to make some changes. Like, that pink is not going to show up on you, dog. Like, you're like, even if you're like an Italian dude from Staten Island, like, yellow's risky, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you were going to turn into Joey Bag of Donuts come 3 o'clock on a Saturday.
The bonus is like 98% of every Italian guy in Staten Island wants Zeus.
Yeah.
But it's
or St. Michael, dude. Yeah. They want
the statue, and then you ask
Yeah.
how much about like Zeus's mythology do you know?
Yeah.
And like it turns out they don't know anything.
Nah,
they don't know
it's like shit's hard,
you know,
dude.
the rape
Yeah.
stories and all
Yeah,
that. So like,
gnarly,
you really
dude.
want this
You got a lot of
guy on?
bitches, I know that.
Yeah.
You took a lot of
fucking
them.
pushing their shit in, dog. My man is a serial rapist, dude.
This is like OG
Zeus, the
Puffy.
serial rapist.
Yeah.
Well, that was like when people were tearing down
P Diddy.
Yeah. Mythological P. Diddy, dude. The mythological Epstein,
So he
dude.
based his life around.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, I thought that was so funny. Like in 2020, people were tearing down statues and these fucking guys are nuts. You know, it's like, but you left the Warner von Braun statue up.
Yeah.
And that guy was a Nazi,
Yeah.
bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whoa, all right, dude. You know,
Yeah.
maybe you
Straight
should have
up.
read a little bit more of the story, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Straight up.
Yeah, interesting shit. You know.
Yeah.
Well, look, we're gonna wrap this up here in a minute. But
Cool.
before we do, a little bit of each of your opinions. Obviously, tattooing goddamn, the landscape, everything about tattooing has changed so much in the last 10 years. It's hard to even. I don't fully understand it. I just know there's a lot of change,
Yeah.
and we can go into. We don't need to go into it, but you know, you've got AI, people replicating what things they're making on AI. You've got all these new tattoos, got these new genres opening up, minimalist genres, all these new, most of it's totally cool. In fact, it's probably all cool in some way. But when you wad all that up, I'd like to hear each of your opinions on just a prediction. Like, what do you see tattooing in 10 years? What's it look like out there for all of us in 10 years?
I feel like things just in general in society are kind of like splitting and becoming more polar opposite. Like just in general, you know, the way humanity's been going. And I feel like that's kind of happening in tattooing right now also, where you're getting people who are just like pushing so many boundaries and creating these things that 10 years ago also probably never seemed like feasible or realistic. And then due to, you know, the economic state, whatever you want to blame things for the average tattooer slowing down on, you have people working a lot less. So I feel like the people who are killing it are just going to continue along that path. And the things we're seeing now are going to be like, man, there was a point in time where there were tattooers in the early 2000s, mid 2000s who were fucking crushing. And now if that was your apprentice, you might not even let them tattoo a human after they did that tattoo. I think it's going to be the same thing. Like the pinnacle right now, due to just technological advances and the people who are crushing it, being able to continue to crush it, but with more technological advances. Dude, I don't even know if I can wrap my mind around some of the stuff we'll see in 10 years. And I see it just continuing the pinnacle to keep rising. But I feel like it's going to be balanced by this counterculture kind of thing. You see like tribal coming back. You seeing like these things. Yeah, I do too. But you see the opposite of that happening, where things are like you've got the Renaissance and then you've got the counterculture. And I just feel like that's going to continue to separate a little bit more, just because society is separating a little bit.
And nobody
more.
wants their dad's tattoos.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm so curious to see what it's going to look like. But I just think like the pinnacle, as far as like the, oh shit, you did this, is going to continue to get better. And then also I feel like the counterpoint of that is going to continue to look grimier and grimier, which I'm kind of into also,
too,
you know?
Yeah.
So I'm super curious to see where that goes. I think we're going to see more people there's a financial crunch, lean into like private studio or tattooing out of their houses and stuff like that, which I think will sound good for a little while until you realize like ultimately like there's no community, you're not getting better, you're shooting yourself in the foot long term unless you've been tattooing for a long time and you can get away with that. But if you're a third-year tattooer and you're tattooing out of your house, like you just fucking put a ceiling on your career that's so low compared to otherwise. And then I think within 10 years you're going to see that swing back to like
I'm already seeing that swing back.
Big shops.
Yeah. I had my thoughts. I mean, I think there's real practical reasons why that's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, it's with everybody opening their phone and having the option of 200 tattooers in their local area.
Yeah.
They don't need to drive around and find them anymore.
Yeah.
So they just simply, and who's showing up in their phone?
Exactly.
It's probably not you by yourself in your house or you and a buddy in some hole away apartment. And I'm not saying this because I'm a shop owner. I'm just saying it straight up.
No,
like
it's just
those guys are, for the first
reality.
time ever, they're calling me up and they're telling me that. I'm like, why do you want to work here? You've been at this solo studio. It seems like a dream deal for 3 years. And they're like, I'm fucking dead, dude.
Yeah.
Like I don't have marketing budget like Guru does. And so there is going to be a swing towards getting into a good place with good marketing and good infrastructure so you can get clients, so you can tattoo and have a career. Yeah. And then, of course, you're right. If you get good enough, all that goes away. Now you're an independent.
But so many people are doing it way before that. And the irony, you mentioned the marketing budget. So many tattooers, tattoo shops, whatever, don't have a marketing budget. It's so weird to me. Yes, you're an artist, but you're a business man, man. Even dope dealers have a marketing budget. Why do you
give out those
as your own businessman and
because we didn't need it? I was in that era. No one needed them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Guru, my shops thrived we're 21 years now. I'd say the first 15, maybe first 12, zero, not even a thing. Everybody in the shop, 6-month wait minimum, and we just saw that slowly going away. And now it's the landscape has shifted. We're a fully matured industry.
Yep.
And
that's just what it is. We're an industry now.
We're a fully mature industry. And like any mature industry, I mean, if you want to become a dentist, it's not because there's not enough dentists. There's plenty of dentists. We don't need another one. So go ahead, be a dentist. But why? How are people going to find you? How are people? Why would people come to you? Visibility, marketability, and now we have to do those things. And a lot of people are panicking; they're frustrated. But I am too, frankly. I kind of like the old way. It was much more easy.
Yeah, it was safer, dude.
It was just more fun. I didn't have to go to these fucking meetings with my marketing people, and I have to make sure I check my DMs. I didn't do any of this extra work. But I'm not going to cry too long about it. What is. So what do we got to do?
So what's the solution?
What's the solution?
Sitting in the problem.
Yeah. That's good, though. I mean, everything you said, I agree with. Yeah, for sure. What about you, Sean?
Well, I think we're just at a point now where tattooing is going to look like the normal art world, where you're going to have everything in it. Dog shit to Rembrandt. Everything. There's not, and I think there's not going to be a best tattooer. That's already disappearing. There's no, like, you can't name a list of the fucking 10 sickest guys in the world. It's impossible. Yeah. And I think it's not even even what you were saying. I don't think it's even necessarily going to be about the quality. Like, all right, remember back in the day, if you could do smooth gray wash, that was like a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Fucking cares. People don't even do smooth shit anymore. If they do, they want to, like it's going to be a choice like it is in painting or something. And you're going to see every kind of genre come up, and you're going to see things that come up and they go, and it's going to get harder. It already is harder to get visible, just like it is to be a painter. Super hard, dude. You got to have a combination of like charismatic personality, right place, right time, reach, like we're in a right place, right time because people know us from before. We got in when the market was ready to jump in, dude. You know what I mean? Yeah, just made it, dude.
I feel so bad for like fourth year tattooers right now.
It's difficult. It's possible to do it, but that also might trim the fat off people that maybe don't got the heart to keep following through. You know what I mean? Yeah. When times get hard.
That's the bonus of it.
Yeah, but I think some awesome shit is going to come from that. There's going to be amazing people that come through, and you're going to see things and points of view that come out through artwork that maybe we'd never seen before. And you're going to see stuff like I just saw a dude, the guy with the fence, put the fence on the guy's leg. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, that he's the same guy who like rides a mountain bike down
and just like hits people with a machine. Yeah, so dude, stupid. Like it's crazy, dude. I'm not gonna shout him on here to even give him props, but it's like you don't like say the person you're dissing's name on a beef track sometime,
or you do
let them shine, or you do. Yeah. I think we're gonna see like everything like that. I think things are gonna get a little bit harder, and I think you're gonna have this mix of like the word of mouth is gonna become a little bit more important again. Not as big as it was way back in the day.
Though.
I put physical cards in people's hands and put the QR code with them to see, and they're like, "Oh shit!" And now they're never gonna forget me. But now I also have the internet is like where I can take the digital realm. You got to be kinder to people, dude. You got to like take care of some people, dude. You got to make the experience really good. You got to give a shit about it. You got to be willing to put 10 toes on the pavement again and like go put the card in people's hand. And you're not going to be able to sit there and just rely on Instagram to get it going for you again, which is that also is going to make it tough for some people. Like all these really antisocial type, it's going to be hard for you, dude. You're going to have to go talk to people. You're going to have to like, you might have to spend a little bit of your time not wearing headphones when you're tatting somebody, like so that they know that you love them and shit, dude. Like you're grateful, dude. You're going to want to do shit to let them know, like, no, me and my family ate because of you, dude. I appreciate you, dude. You're like, whereas, rewind 6-8 years ago, you'd come in with your fucking dick hanging out. If you were good, didn't matter. Yeah. Treat the customer like shit. They don't give a fuck, dude. Where are you going to go? Now, anywhere I want, bitch. I'll go wherever I want.
Also kind of like maybe not working as much anymore.
Yeah, dude. That karma came back, dude,
I'd say like at least a third of my customers at least are people I've tattooed multiple times. I could probably delete my Instagram right now and be fine with them. And not the same, but like get by. It's customer service on top of art.
Yeah.
It's not just
I agree.
Art.
The future is it's beautiful in that way. The purification, the culling of the herd, so to speak. For guys like us that have really, really cared a lot, it was a bummer to see the ones that didn't care. And not only because they're touching humans. Like, I don't care if a bricklayer is a shithead bricklayer too much. Yeah. I mean, just don't build a 5-10-story building and that people die in.
Collapse.
But roughly speaking, there's just a lot of jobs where it's okay. You don't have to be that passionate about it. It's fine. Yeah. But this ain't one of them.
No, it's part of what makes tattooing special.
Oh,
that's part of it.
My career 30 years ago, dude, I mean,
it was all
90% of the industry didn't give a fuck, and we're thriving.
Yeah.
We're killing it.
Yeah.
And I was in the middle of it, giving a fuck, kind of angry about it. Like, this is, but I also had to accept it's just the way it is. But so I got my wish, right? We're moving into it now. Like that not giving a fuck thing. Good luck.
Yep.
Good luck with that. Yep. And I'm already seeing it. I got, friends of mine that are closing shops. I've got tattooers that are calling me to work my front. You want a job as a tattooer? No, I just miss tattoo shops. I'm a line cook now. I'm never going back.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. You see more of that lately.
Well, you see some of his work. It's like this guy tattooed for 15 years. That was the pinnacle of where you stopped. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should have stopped probably
8 years.
Yeah, long time sooner, man. You stuck with it because you could. and people, but you can't anymore.
Nah, you got to be giving it 110%.
No, that's definitely, in my mind, the silver lining or the bonus. Not this person whose dream didn't work out. Like, to me, seeing somebody's dream work out's amazing. But like you said earlier, like the culling of the herd, I feel like the numbers are going to like come back to earth.
Yeah. Well, I don't think everybody was meant to do
for
it
a little while.
No, they're not.
No.
Yeah.
No, but tons of people got into it because it was an easy game to jump into.
Yeah.
And there's no barrier to entry.
That's one thing, like, especially you being shop owner of a couple shops that are fairly large and being in this industry for so long. Do you feel like in the next 10 years, it's going to be more heavily regulated?
Yeah.
Than it
I think
now?
everything's going to be more regulated.
Once
in
they
10
see
years.
the money in it, dude,
that's
then
kind
that's
of why
when
I'm
the
bringing
companies
that up.
come
I
in.
think,
And,
they're already
happens,
they're
we're
fucking
gonna-
with the ink. You know, thank God you can do black and gray. Those colors might not be
they
on your
might
shelf
not be
soon.
around, dude. Yep.
I mean, they're going to regulate. They're always going to do that. You know. Yeah, but I agree with all. You know, I would say more on what I think is going to happen, but I think you guys covered exactly how I feel about it too. And ultimately, both of us, all of us, agree here in the room that we don't really know because of the changes that are occurring in the human species with technology make the future impossible practically to predict.
Right.
You know, which is a very difficult thing, especially as a father.
Yeah.
You know, one of the raddest things about being a father 50 years and back, the dad, the mom could pretty accurately tell the child
How
what
the world will look.
Yes. And then you could better get them ready for it.
Yep.
You know, I got a kid up at Berkeley who I think will do well. I mean, she's going to go to Haas Business School. She's on the pathway to the top echelon business school in the country.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% certain that the jobs that come out from that degree are even, I mean, a lot of them are going to be AI replaced. And so, and again, I think, I do think she'll be fine. So, but whatever, the point is, it's just so hard to know.
Yep.
And that's the world. Then you say, well, what about tattooing? What's going to happen there? Like kind of a lot of
mirror of the world.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't fucking know. But I think a lot of the stuff you said is happening, will continue to happen. Yep. And I don't see it really as a big negative to everyone. You just gotta,
different.
It's just different. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's chalk that up to the like, I don't want to say like it is what it is, but like, you know, like the people, like tattooing's just gonna tattoo. Like I'm just gonna do what I do day in and day out because I love doing it no matter which direction it's going. You know, like all you can do is adapt and just live and continue to do what you enjoy doing and love doing.
Isn't it like that one story, like the one Eckhart book where like the dude, like, you know, he wins lottery or something. They're like, that's amazing. He's like, we'll see. Then his house falls off the cliff and he gets fucked up. Like, that's horrible. He's like, we'll see. Because he was fucked up, he didn't get killed in some other thing. They're like, that's incredible. We'll see. It's just like that, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, well, maybe it's, you know, we'll see, bro. You know what I mean?
That's an enlightened viewpoint where you just, you realize that it's all perfect. The house burning down somehow was exactly how it should be. The winning the lottery was exactly how it should be. I mean, I'm not there, but that to me is a definition of an enlightened state of mind.
I'm closer to it than I was, dude. I'm trying. You know what I mean? Yeah,
me
for
too.
sure. Yeah, I can see it on you all day, bro.
Yeah.
There's going to be those moments where you're tired and burnt out that you're not in acceptance of taking an L, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But overall, you know, I'd say so.
True that, man. Well, where can people find you, Michael?
I'm in New York primarily, often out here.
In LA?
In LA, Long Beach area. I work at Love Machine in New York and Raven and the Wolves in Long Beach. And find me all over.
Two amazing, highly respected shops with a bunch of bad motherfuckers tattooing in them. Right on. And your Instagram, it'll all be on the show notes. What is it?
It is at Michael Perry Art.
Of course, people can find out how to do everything with you there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'm easy. You can just shoot me a message there.
That's how I roll it too.
I mean, I'm easy.
I don't have rules about how to contact me.
Path of least resistance, man.
I've always been that way.
Yeah.
Never said books closed.
Nope.
Don't DM me.
Yeah. No DMs.
Oh, these guys do this is so many young tattooers. What the fuck is this?
Yeah. Fill out my like credit card application booking form. Like, ooh, get over yourself. You know what I mean? Have you seen some of these people's booking forms? Like,
I've seen some crazy shit.
The only reason I'll say I can't have people DM me is because I get too scatterbrained. Like I'll lose. Like if you send me the reference here,
game to play,
and then the email's over here, and I'm trying to find your project, I can't get. We can start the convo there, but then at a certain point, I'm like, we got to take it here so I can have this as a permanent record.
That's what I do
when I need to sit down.
You can DM me,
yeah,
and all that is I want to blah blah blah. Yeah, that seems like it's in my ballpark.
hit me here.
email me.
Yeah.
And then everything, all reference, all photos, all discussions, all pricing. And it's all right. It's in one spot. Yeah. Totally. Well, where can people find you, Sean?
You can find me in Daytona Beach, Florida. And it's my studio is Dark Moon Gallery. And we'll probably be having a second location next couple years as well, in that same rough area.
Okay.
South Daytona or Ormond, something like that. And then you can find me on Instagram at Sean_Foy, SEAN_FOY.
Fuck yeah. Well, and I'll see you at Golden State Tattoo Expo in Pasadena in 2 days.
Couple days.
I'll be up there doing this up there. My shop will be there as well, but I'm not going to tattoo. I'm going to try to do a bunch of these while I'm up there. So it'll be fun. But I'll definitely come by and say hello. You going up there to hang out at all?
I think I got hella work here.
Oh, you're going to be tattooing?
I'm going to be tattooing.
Well, that's fun. That's good too.
Yeah.
And by the way, I know you tattooed here yesterday, and it was rad to have you.
Oh, everybody was.
Yeah,
it was funny when I came in, dude. So I had like smoked a little bit, and I like
not crack though.
No, weed, yeah. And I couldn't like talk to introduce myself for like an hour, dude. And everyone's looking at me, and I was like, oh shit, I fucked this up, dude. You know what I mean?
I just tell people straight up when I'm high.
That's what I
especially
did.
Weed.
Yeah.
I just look them straight up. I go, I am super stoned right now. So whatever you're seeing, just
don't take it personal, dude. Yeah. If I can't make eye contact properly, I don't hate you, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, people love you when you say it too, because they're like, they've all been there.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden,
right.
they're just like so cool and getting you water, and you're just like,
yeah, nobody was sweating me. It was tight, dude. You know, but I felt like bad. Like this is the intro I'm making, dog. You know, like cool.
This is a tattoo shop, brother.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're fine. Awesome. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. The conversation today was fucking awesome. I'm glad we got into some deep water, not just the resume shit. So that was really fun. I'm glad you guys are both of the mindset that you were ready to go there anyway. So it made for a fun time for me. Got to meet and know and become friends with two more amazing people in our rad community. So appreciate you for all of it. Thank you for coming. All you guys watching and girls watching, thank you for tuning in. Please keep subscribing. I'm a little guy. And I like doing this, but honestly, if I don't keep growing, and I am growing, but I need to grow faster and I need to grow bigger, and it's got to happen next year. So please keep that love coming so I can keep doing it. If you want me here, then keep that coming. That, just watching the show is not enough. I need subscriptions. I need little DM love notes. Keep my energy up. So, and you guys have been doing a lot of that, but keep that stuff coming. And thank you. And thanks for watching today. See you on the next one.
Chats and Tats with Aaron Della Vedova.